participant, please introduce today's afternoon resource person, Shrikant Kallurkar, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think roll number 49.
Sir, roll number, my
50.
roll number is 50.
Yes, ma'am, 50, ma'am. Okay. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce our distinguished resource person for this afternoon session, Dr. Shrikant Kallurkar. Dr. Kallurkar is an eminent academic leader with over 45 years professional experience, including 40 years academic and 5 years industry with Bajaj Auto Limited and Kirloskar Brothers Limited. He has former principal of Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai, and currently serving as head research at Institute of Studies in Vedic Science, Vishwa Global Shivpuri Akkalkot, and as director Insan Entrepreneurship Startup and Innovation Forum Pune. A PhD in industrial engineering, Sir has made remarkable contribution to engineering education, research, institutional development, and entrepreneurship. He has guided 23 PhD scholars, published 100 plus research papers, hold 2 patents, and has served as mentor and auditor for Survival Primer Engineering Institute across India. He has his dedication to academic excellence and innovation has earned him recognition as a globally ranked researcher. Here I quit my introduction. Once again, welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Like my assistant Anuja is there, GSDAN, with that number. Anuja, are you here? Can you do the present? Can she be the co-host so that she can do the PowerPoint presentation for me?
Yes, sir. I have sent a request. Please
Ah.
tell them to accept that request.
Yeah. So, administrator, please make Anuja as the co-host now. Oh, Anuja, you are the co-host now, so you can proceed now. Thank you very much, sir, that I was given the opportunity. And since last almost 2 years, we had multiple occasions that I could join in this program. So remotely, my assistant would be giving the presentations. And so the topic for today's discussion would be embedding Indian knowledge system in higher education. Because we all know, as per the National Economy Education Policy of 2020, the new education policy, what we say, Indian knowledge system, subjects related with that, a content related with that, is expected to be taught. And we all know it's around 5% of the total weightage. That means not only one subject which most of our Indian institutions are doing, but also multiple subjects will have to be introduced up to the level of 5% of the total content. So it comes to around, in my opinion, if our undergraduate program is having 160 credits, means 8 credits, at least 4 subjects of 2 credits each in 3 years' time. And then it will change for PG and other programs. So we need to have multiple subjects, and preferably the subjects which will go in line with the field of the education that you are dealing with. It may be arts, commerce, science. There could be someone from engineering background also, and pharmacy. So what is important, our recommendation is, how can we do the embedding with our education system? Instead of teaching ICAS as only an independent subject, as like an history, how can we go for the next one? So Anuja, next PPT. So why Indian knowledge system? So we all know now in the year 1835, Lord Macaulay, he presented to the British Parliament, and it was the kind of minutes of the future of Indian education. So there is uh, a rumor type of story going on. If you, some of you would have heard or seen on WhatsApp or any other WhatsApp university, what we say, or any other source of that kind, wherein he says that I moved across the length and breadth of this nation and I could not see a poor man. This country was called Sone ki Chidiya. And one of the root cause of that was the education system of our country. It is also said that he visited one of the old Gurukul or the education center where about 10 students were studying together and there was no teacher. So he casually asked a question, don't you think that you will make a mistake because there is no teacher with you? And one of the students replied that if I study alone, I can make a mistake. But when you are studying in the group, it's likely that one person will correct another. That was the system of education, what we call it as cooperative and collaborative education system. In fact, when I was a principal at Atharo College of Engineering, on a trial basis for 1 year, I tried to implement a virtual collaborative learning platform. It was designed by an NRI who had come back from, I think, Australia, so that students can collaborate, cooperate, the teachers can create chat rooms. Now we can do it in Google also or multiple platforms. Even Moodle is one of the earlier platform where you as a teacher can create a chat room and then the students can keep on chatting about the subjects. One will ask the question and other people will give the reply. And whenever needed, a teacher can intervene to find out whether students are going in the right direction or that intervention of the teacher is needed or not. So now it is most of the learning management facilities do provide that. So one student answered that together we will not make a mistake. So many of you as a faculty members of different colleges, you must be practicing this also. And if not, you can think of doing that at no cost. Don't ask for any budgetary provision. It's available in the free form also. So there is a shift from what was available in this country, whatever kind of education, we'll discuss that in detail further. But today's our higher education system is in English, most probably, wherever possible. And you have incorporated the Western sciences in all the disciplines. And the outcome is there is a modernization of our education system. And because of that, we have global access. Some of you who are on the various international platforms, because these days going on the international platform, joining certain groups of the subjects that we teach, exchanging the ideas, or sometimes presenting the papers online mode, all it is easy. And you may find that because we are taught English as a subject since last fourth or fifth standard, if you have studied in vernacular medium, and if you have studied in English medium, right from the first standard. And generally, English is the accepted language as the word. So it becomes easy for Indians to have better communication as compared to our counterparts from other countries where English is not so popular. They might have advanced in technology, in various disciplines, in social sciences, and all that. But this knowledge of English, which we most of our teachers or in the higher education have, it makes us capable of global access in a more comfortable manner. But the problem was it created the administrative class, what we say clerks. He wanted to develop a kind of generation which will be yes sir type, not question. Simply follow the orders, simply follow the instructions. So the basic purpose of inquisitiveness in education was disturbed. But that was the need of the government serving our country at that time, the British Raj. It was their need. And knowingly or unknowingly, almost for large number of years, we continued with that. And now you all know that Indian knowledge system is now incorporated as a part of our education system. It is worth knowing how it happened because the then chairman of AICT, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, he told in one of the smaller meetings, because he was the first person in the country at that level to think of introducing Indian knowledge system, which later on through Kallurkar committee came into existence through as a part of our national education policy. Somewhere here in the year 2018-19, there was a parliamentary question asked by a member of parliament from Tamil Nadu, especially. And he raised a question. When we have such a rich knowledge inherited from thousands of years in this country, why the education ministry, education system of this country does not teach those subjects, especially during after we got the freedom. So it was a parliamentary question. The minister had to answer. So he asked the chairman AICT because he raised some questions, especially concerned with engineering education. Why in engineering education the kalas and shakhas, what were there, are not being implemented? So Professor Sahasrabudhe was there, and somehow the question answer session got dropped. You know, things do keep on changing last minute in parliaments. But then because Professor Sahasrabudhe was there on the campus, he had a mobile number of that MP. So he thought of calling him. He called him And he said, sir, I am here. Anyway, the question answer section is dropped today, but then can we meet? And the MP was also nearby. So he said, okay, let's meet. That's fine. We will discuss outside the parliamentary house. So where to meet? Then they decided to meet in the cabin of the minister himself. So Professor Sasrabuddhe and the MP were sitting on the sofa set kept in the minister's chamber. And Professor Sasrabuddhe was trying to understand what is the concern of this member of parliament. And he basically liked the idea behind the question. That was the starting point. So in the meantime, the minister also came in his chamber and he said, yes, what's going on? What are you doing here? He said, sir, anyway, the question answer session is cancelled. But then I thought of discussing with the person who asked the question, the MP who asked the question. So the minister also said, okay, chalo, let me join also with you. They sat together and after 10 minutes, the minister gave him the instruction, ek kaam karo. Next week, call 100 vice chancellors of top universities of India in Delhi. We'll have a meeting on this. This seems to be a nice idea. Go back to the roots of this country. So then it all happened. And most of the vice chancellors also said, yes, there is a good, it's time that we reincorporate these things. So यहाँ से शुरुआत हुई NEP की में जो IKS अभी आया है, हम जो पढ़ा रहे हैं, इसकी ये शुरुआत थी. प्रोफेसर सहस्त्रबुद्धे माय पर्सनल फ्रेंड, तो एक बार उन्होंने ऐसी ये बात हमें 1-on-1 में बताई थी. And then 2020 आ गया within 1 year and COVID was there, but the idea got rooted in the minds of the Minister of Education as well as the chairman AICT. It was also percolated to the chairman UGC, the two top bodies of the country. And then the recommendations were with the committee which drafted the present national education policy. So with this background, in NEP, IKS is introduced. Generally, हमें लगता है कि वो parliamentary questions होंगे तो गलत ही होंगे, not necessary. Majority of the time, parliamentary questions are also correct. Because in the society, good people are there. When I'm saying this, in my mind, I'm going back to one of the speech I heard in Delhi from the former Chief Election Commissioner of India, Krishnamurthy. I think he was after TN Session, second or third after him. So once Krishnamurthy mentioned in his speech, जैसी सोसाइटी होती है वैसा MP चुन के आता है. And he was making a joke. If there are thieves in the society, an MP will be a thief. If there are dacoits in the society, the MP would be chosen to be a dacoit. And if there are good people in the society, they will choose a good person to be the member of parliament. So ultimately, this particular issue raised by that member of parliament from Tamil Nadu was the source of introducing Indian knowledge system in our Indian education system. And as faculty members of higher education, we are all part of it. And Abdul Rafi sir knows that personally I was recommending this almost from the year 2015. So when I shared some documents of 2015 with Professor Sasrabuddhe, then he said कि ऐसे ऐसे हुआ है, and you are also thinking in the right direction. That is something you feel happy when an idea comes. Some of you would have attended a program because we had more than 7,000 participants. When the lockdown was announced in the month of March 2020, in the month of April 2020, we declared a webinar on Education 4.0, and we had more than 3,500 registrations. So we had to shift from the existing technology that we were planning to YouTube live. So we shifted to YouTube because we wanted, see, the problem was after the lockdown, everybody was sitting idle at home and no one was knowing what to do. And most of the people had internet connections. So we had a huge response for this webinar. And in that, when we are talking about mass customization in higher education, we presented some of these points. And surprisingly, after one or 2 years, the contents of the education policy were on the table. We were happy to see that what we said, 2, 3 points on that were present here. So it made me happy, naturally. Now the next PPT, Anuja, the cost of the shift. Shift was not bad. We got access to higher education, modern education, global education systems. That was the plus point, which in fact we developed further. And today we are like that. But then there was a loss also. And the cost we paid for that was marginalization of indigenous knowledge systems. Every country is proud of its own indigenous knowledge system. And so we too, we Indians also, were proud of the knowledge that was prevailing in this country. That was developed almost 2,500 to almost 4,000 years back by various scientists who were called as Rishis at that. So those scientists, we call them as Rishi. And then what we say, Rishi is something like a saint, because the approach of Indian knowledge system towards any subject is different. So we felt that they are like a saint. And because of that, there is a disconnect from civilizational roots. We got modern things, we got global access, but at the same time, we cut our roots. देखिए किसी भी पेड़ के जब रूट्स कट किए जाते हैं तो पेड़ ज्यादा दिन खड़ा नहीं रह पाता है. And that's what happened with our society. But that was the intention, because he mentioned during his recommendations that let the average Indian over years should feel proud of Western knowledge, Western systems, rather than their own knowledge and their own systems. And if you see the present generations, and including the generations of yours and ours, because I am from the earlier generation, I am 70 years old now. So we have a disconnect from our civilizational roots to a larger extent. So there is a need to reevaluate education balance. कितना पुराना, कितना नया. आज हम नया तो काफी दे रहे हैं. Now the system says नहीं, उसके साथ आप पुराना भी दीजिए. So what is important is now how, as the faculty member, you might be faculty member of autonomous institutions where you are right to decide the curriculum. You might be a faculty member in some other institutions which are affiliated, not autonomous, but some of you could be on the board of studies of your respective universities. So my appeal to all of you is, please try to integrate Indian knowledge system in the subject that you are teaching. In some of the programs, I have made an appeal to the professors, whether it is part of syllabus or not. Still, out of 60 minutes, if you can speak for 5 minutes, which is say allied things with the syllabus, co-curricular activity kind of things, and then connect the subject that you are teaching with the something from the past. And now, with the help of artificial intelligence, getting that kind of access is very easy. What is important is, sometimes AI is a data driven system. So sometimes it may depend on the data, and the database itself may not be correct. For example, if large number of people submit a different kind of data, for sometimes we have a feeling that whether some of the knowledge was stolen. You ask Google, you ask ChatGPT, you ask any AI tool, the answer would be no. Two different scientists, one was a Rishi, another was the Western scientist, at two different time zones got the same results, and it can happen. आप भी अपने पीएचडी में जो काम करते हो उसी टाइप के रिजल्ट्स और किसी को अपने पीएचडी में मिले होंगे, and then you say that yes, my findings are substantiated. So they say, okay, when you are saying that this was already existing in India as an Indian knowledge system, it means the research done 200 years or 100 years ago by some scientists, maybe Newton, Pythagoras, and whatnot, is substantiated with with the knowledge that you are telling that you got it 2,500 years back. And one of the reasons is the documentation system was different at that time. And the documentation system needed here today is different. So, अगर हम सब लोग प्रोफेसर मतलब ज्ञान के पुजारी हैं, तो अब हमारा ये फर्ज बनता है कि हम वो ज्ञान आज की दुनिया का जो पैटर्न है डॉक्यूमेंटेशन सिस्टम वाला, उसमें इनकॉर्पोरेट करें। गवर्नमेंट ने तो ये बहुत कुछ सालों से किया है, क्योंकि मुझे कुछ अवसर ऐसा मिला था कि भाई एनआईटी जो नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी होते हैं, आई एम एन इंजीनियर, सो मोस्ट ऑफ माय experience is in the engineering education. When I used to go for inspection or mentoring of some of the top NITs on behalf of a World Bank project, it was called Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, which ran for almost 15 years, 2006 to 21. So I had the opportunity for 15 years to visit NITs. And there we used to see that even in 2012, 13, 14, 15, some of the top NITs and of course IITs were already given the projects of creating documentation of the Indian knowledge system. So the work had already started. And because of that, today AI can give us the information that we need just with a touch of a button. Just with one click, you will get most of the things. The credit also goes to what has been done in this country for last 10, 15 years. Digitization of that ancient knowledge. Next PPT, Anuja. Yes. But the big question is, are we globally competent but culturally fragmented? And unfortunately, the answer is also yes. We are globally competent. We have top entrepreneurs of this country who go and buy the top companies of the world. We are creating miracles in the whole of the world. But at the same time, we went away from the roots of our civilization. So what is important is integrating these two things. And who can do that? Only the professors, only the teachers can do it. Government can make the policies, but if you don't teach according to that in your classroom, the policies will remain in paper. Policies will get implemented through, in fact, through the youngest professor in the college. But he or she is the most active person in the college. Generally we say, पहले आप असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर बोल के ज्वाइन होते हो, फिर एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर बनते हो, फिर प्रोफेसर बनते हो. एंड इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस जब लोग प्रोफेसर बनते हैं, फुल प्रोफेसर बन जाते हैं, दे स्टॉप वर्किंग. दे फील दैट ओ अब सब तो मिल गया, अभी तो क्या है, खाली अभी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पोस्ट पे ही जाना है. सो दे स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. Nothing wrong in going on in administration, but at the same time, as a teacher, we should keep one leg in academics, teaching also. So that if you become an administrator tomorrow, or some of you could be already an administrator, at least head of the department, and still you can create better professors, better teachers of tomorrow. With the authority that you have, with the zeal, the research background that you have. So the question is, can we integrate modern innovation plus Indian knowledge system wisdom for holistic education? We are talking about holistic education, holistic development, holistic schools. All these words have come from the education policy. And the volunteers who will do it is you all members. So let's try to answer the question, what model of education will future engineers or higher education students build? हमारे बाद जो लोग टीचर्स होंगे वो कौन सा मॉडल ऑफ एजुकेशन इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, हायर एजुकेशन में इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे? Should it be a model that integrates Indian knowledge system with the Western knowledge that we teach? Or should we continue to teach Indian knowledge system as a history? हमारे बाप दादा, हमारे पूर्वज बहुत बड़े थे, कब तक हम ये इतना ही बोलते रहेंगे? एक न एक दिन हमें वो क्यों बड़े हुए थे इसका अभ्यास करना पड़ेगा, और हमें खुद भी तो बड़ा बनना पड़ेगा. हमारा देश सोने की चिड़िया था, ये हम कितने साल तक बोलते रहेंगे? क्या हम इसको फिर से सोने की चिड़िया बनाएंगे या नहीं बनाएंगे? आई होप आप सबका जवाब यही होगा कि हाँ. जैसे आपने कौटिल्य का सुना भी होगा, अगर देश बदलना है तो अध्यापक को ही वो करना चाहिए. A teacher only can do. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Yes, 53 number. Ji हाँ, sir. Yes. Thank you for responding.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. So, what model of education we expect? So, Anuja, please go to the next page. Western scientific approach. Let's study first, which we have been taught also in the schools and colleges. Newton, the Western approach was, Newton created laws of motion. We all know that. He created three laws also. Pythagoras developed the mathematical order. Einstein talked about space and time. And they all measured the universe and built modern technologies. So what these great scientists have done, they measured the things in the universe. They tried to develop the measuring systems based on which the modern technology is further developed. Let's see something equivalent from the Indian knowledge system. Next PPT. Ancient Indian rishis approach, what it was. Let's see, Aryabhatta, cosmic calculations. We know Aryabhatta gave the concept of zero. Because of which it made miracles. Whatever kind of measurements we are able to do it, it is because of 1 to 9 and 0. So measurement becomes comparatively easy. There is another Rishi Brahmagupta who talked about this zero at the level of human mind. And he created a philosophy. Zero is the source of infinity. So in this program, we will try to experience that. Based on Aryabhatta's concept, Brahmagupta said zero is the source of infinity. How can it become a source of infinity in my case? We'll try to experience this. So a concept called creative pause. So in case if I forget, someone of you can try to remind, sir, वो आपने बोला था creative pause, वो रह गया? जब तक आप creative pause के बारे में आगे नहीं जाओगे, हम मीटिंग क्लोज नहीं करेंगे. That I'll be happy to that. Kanad Rishi, he developed atomic theory, Anu, Parmanu, what it say, electron, proton, neutron. Kanad Rishi was the person who talked about this. So even in science, it was there. Then comes psychology. Patanjali, basically science of mind. But what happened over the years, we feel Patanjali ने क्या किया? योगा दिया. योगा क्यों करना है? बॉडी अच्छी रहेगी. Yes, बॉडी तो अच्छी रहेगी. But mind and body, a sound mind in sound body only can create great things. We all need to have a sound mind in our body also, which is sound. ऐसे नहीं कि माइंड बहुत अच्छा है और बॉडी में बहुत सारे रोग साथ में चल रहे हैं. चल भी सकते हैं लेकिन over the years, लेकिन you should know how to manage that. So Patanjali gave the science of mind. So what these rishis did, they integrated science, ethics, and consciousness. That's very important, consciousness. Presently, I am working on the concept of developing consciousness. Recently, I have published a book, Lead from Within. And though it is written in the form of a novel, and now it is available globally. So Lead from Within, नाम के तो बहुत books है, but Lead from Within, a corporate transformation story based on 5 Vedic laws of success is my book, which is available on Amazon, Flipkart, not only Amazon India, but also Amazon.com and most of the European countries of Amazon. So it's available in US, Canada, Australia, Europe, and Asian countries also. It's available in Japan also, but it's in English. So recently, one of my friends from Austria was asking, why you are not written in Dutch? said, मुझे थोड़ी डच आती है, आप करो ट्रांसलेट, आई विल बी हैप्पी टू डू एक्सेप्ट दैट. जर्मन लैंग्वेज मुझे नहीं आती है, आप ट्रांसलेट कीजिए, मैं आपको परमिशन दे दूं. So that people want this particular thing to go to everyone. That is nothing but conscious leadership, development of conscious leadership. So we implemented this. I trained one of my students on this concept of five Vedic laws of success, which we had designed, developed, for which I had received research grants first from AICT, then from Nikmar University in Pune recently. And because of that, we could develop a model of training. So that time he was a junior cybersecurity engineer in New York. He has undergone that program. So हम सिर्फ एक डेढ़ घंटा हफ्ते में मिलते थे. So 2 महीने में program complete हुआ. Then he decided to implement that as a part of lifestyle changes, Vedic lifestyle management. And you know, US is the land of opportunity. So you are always under observations. The authorities observed that इस बच्चे में, इसका नाम है गौरव, इसमें कुछ changes हो रहे हैं. They decided, चलो इसको ज्यादा काम देते हैं. He was a team lead of 3. He became after 1 month team lead of 10. And after 2 months, team lead of 16. Means multiple projects. He was a team leader. And then they gave him a job of developing a dashboard, which he did it in 6 months. Now, during all this period, I was doing his counseling almost on a weekly or fortnightly basis. How to develop Panchakosha and through Panchasadhana. These were the two concepts from Ved and Upanishads, which are also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So someone presently is doing research on that, PhD on this. That how these same concepts from Bhagavad Gita can become the source of senior management training. He himself is a retired principal general manager of BSNL. So he has already worked as the in charge of the state. So he has all that idea. And so he is planning that he will develop this kind of work. So in this case, what happened? Then out of 2,000 employees in 35 countries, 1,000 employees started working his dashboard. And because of which he had to train the people who were 2 cadres above him. And everywhere we were trying to use the basic concepts from Panchakosh, Panchasadhana developments. And we kept on getting success. There were situations, I cannot openly tell about everything, because sometimes they are company secrets. There were situations where we faced corporate politics, departmental power dynamics, because when he got the accept permission from the authorities, especially the chairman of the company, that for next 1 year you can attend all the board meetings, board of directors meetings, so that you get an idea company kahan ja rahi hai for next 5 years. It's a multinational company. And then you implement certain new things for this company. So the future chief privacy officer of this company, because now data privacy has getting prime importance in America and Europe. Different countries have different policies, governance systems for the data privacy of the customers. And India is also trying to develop our own data privacy system. So he's chosen to be the first chief privacy officer of the company. They said you are only 32 or ek 4-5 saal be a trainee. So he was promoted as head data privacy with company-wide access. And then next promotion could be, of course, he is due for one more promotion. But then they also said कि नहीं ये promotion के लिए 40 साल का होना जरूरी है. I said, well, you can't compromise on your age. Age तो सालों साल जितना बढ़ना है उतना ही बढ़ेगा. आज आप 32 के हो, कल आप नहीं बोल सकते अब मेरा 40 हो गया. That's not possible. So anyway, these things apart, we first developed a proof of concept that Indian knowledge system can create great leaders for multinational companies. And then we converted that in the form of a novel. So that is the book that I'm talking about. So next PPT, Anuja. Provocative reflection. ये बड़ा important है. When we think about Indian knowledge system, this provocative reflection is important to understand. If science explains how the universe works, who explains? Who is experiencing it? You are trying to understand how the universe works. But who is experiencing that knowledge? It is what we call it as I, aham, me, within all of us. We may give any name to that, including Atma, or whatever you want to call it, soul, whatever word you call it. IKS talks about who is experiencing it. So when how the universe functions and who is experiencing it become together, go hand in hand, you develop a different kind of gamut of knowledge. And that's what I'm trying to appeal to all of you through this session. And yes, please try to do that in your respective fields. And then you will find that you are a different kind of professors. Everyone starts approaching you. Everyone wants to know something from you. Because your way of thinking, your way of dealing with the topics, subjects is different. I personally implemented this concept right in the year 1995-96 when I was head of the department at Nanded Government Engineering College, AGGS. And I found that most of the students were liking that. It was not part of curriculum. But when Swami Ramanand Maratha University got established, that time I had the opportunity to introduce a 5-6 hours part in one of the subjects of first year engineering. So that was my testing ground. And I found that later on, final engineering students, about half dozen students in 2-3 years time, said, sir, हमें ये कुछ, उस समय तो IKS वगैरह कोई वर्ड्स नहीं थे, ये जो कुछ ओरिएंट, हम उसको बोलते थे ओरिएंटल टेक्निक्स, बिकॉज वैदिक नाम लेते हैं तो इट वाज नॉट अलाउड इन हायर एजुकेशन एट दैट टाइम इन मिड 90s. सो वी यूज्ड टू कॉल इट एज ओरिएंटल टेक्निक्स. तो थोड़ा सा मॉडर्न लगता था. तो ओरिएंटल टेक्निक्स में हमें प्रोजेक्ट करना है. एंड उसमें से कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स की वजह से कुछ बच्चों का हमारे जॉब भी मिल गया. इट रीच टू दैट लेवल. So what is important is engineers, scientists, philosophers. I have written the word engineers because this PPT was prepared for engineering college, FDP, and just 1 hour before sir said, sir, आज आपको lecture देना है. So I had no time to change the PPT. So the engineers, scientists, philosophers of tomorrow must master matter plus mind plus meaning. So maybe what is important is that ये हमें अभी शस्त्र मिला है IKS नाम का, और उसमें अगर आप एज ए प्रोफेसर कुछ करोगे तो नेचुरली यू विल बी ऑन द इन द लाइमलाइट, क्योंकि दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ द प्रायोरिटी सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. आपको रिसर्च ग्रांट्स मिल सकती है, आपको कई गवर्नमेंट की कमिटीज पे आगे चल के जाने के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेगी उसमें से. एंड देन think of matter, mind, and meaning together. So, what has happened? There was always a separation between matter, mind, and meaning. I'll give an example from management science. I hope there could be some people who have studied basic principles of management. I think that subject must be there in as a part of commerce graduation also. Or the fundamental of industrialization. When the industrialization started taking place somewhere in the 1920 around, so almost 106 years ago. The question was how to manage the people. So there were 14 basic principles of management. You would be knowing F.W. Taylor, Henry Fayol. These are the people who developed the first theories. So the most important theory which led to the industrial systems, industrial revolution first, second, was division of labor. Few people, few places are good for few jobs. But in the process, what happened? A manager must think and workers must work. So you will give the instructions. A manager, supervisor will give the instructions and a person will work. So we, in the process, what we did, we separated between hand and heart, hand and head. Later on, after second revolution, it was realized that this is the source of industrial unrest. तो बड़े-बड़े strikes होने शुरू हो गए industry. And then came the Japanese management philosophy, where a person as a whole, let the hand and head go together. So concepts like quality circle and other things started coming into. There was a concept called Kaizen, continuous improvement of the people. इकिगाई बुक तो आपसे में से काफी लोगों ने पढ़ा भी होगा. So the concepts from Japanese management started taking roots. What happened? In early 90s, Toyota implemented this and they developed a concept called Toyota Production System. And later on, people realized that this Toyota Production System is one of the best. हुआ क्या 1970s के रेंज में उन्होंने वो शुरू किया. They were investing more on developing fuel efficient cars, whereas the companies like General Motors, Chevrolet, American companies, they were investing on creating luxury cars. And पहली बार 1973 में हमारे यहाँ जो पेट्रोल ₹1.16 लीटर था, वो ऑलमोस्ट ₹3.95, 3.95, ₹3.95. So there was almost 4 times, 3.5 to 4 times rise. And that gave a shock to the economy world over. Because the people who had these fuels, they realized that yes, this is the time to start making money. And now we all know the story of that. So people started trying to understand कि ये जापानी लोग करते क्या थे. So Toyota production system became popular. Kaizen as a management practice became popular. During one of my research, I was trying to understand what are the roots of this Kaizen, ये बना कहाँ से? And surprisingly, I came across a book in which it was written that in Jammu region, it was discussed in families in the form of Shiva Parvati Samvad. Shiva is telling Parvati how a human being can develop. how a human being can grow. And that became a source that went to China, became a Zen sect, then it moved to Japan and become Kaizen, a management system. If that's the case, then there must be further more routes to develop Kaizen through Indian knowledge system. It is but natural. अगर यहाँ से गया था तो. So we tried to work somewhere in the year 2000 and try to find out. And surprisingly, I realized that what 5 Vedic laws of success now are taught, it can develop the Kaizen consciousness of the person. So I wrote a research paper presented in an international conference at PhD Institute of Technology, Coimbatore, and it got good acceptance. And somewhere in the 2003, I came to Pune, left the government job, took the VRS, became a principal, and I was introduced with someone who was doing consultancy, especially for Cummins India. His name is Shyam Talodekar. In the year 2003, he was charging rupees 5,000 per day. That was his fees. So someone introduced us to each other, and then on 2, 3 occasions we met for a dinner in Pune. So casually he mentioned to me that, sir, I had written a book on Kaizen, wherein I introduced the concept of Indian ethos in the Kaizen. I wrote a chapter on the concept of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So moksha is nothing but the highest level of Kaizen achievement. And then when this book went to the Japan, most of the Japanese professors said, no, 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 that's not the right thing. It has nothing to do with the Indian knowledge. It is but natural. Why should they accept? And उन्होंने इनको धमकी दी, unless you remove this chapter from the book, otherwise we'll say this book is banned. No company in the world, no executive in the world should read this book, because this book is not truly a Kaizen developed book on Kaizen. So he had no choice than to remove that chapter. And then after 2 years, we met together. We had a casual discussion. I said, sir, मैंने तो ये research किया है, मैंने देखा भी है कि ये develop the Kaizen consciousness. And the next part can be Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, what you are talking. So he said, okay, एक काम करो सर, अगले महीने मैं फिर आ रहा हूँ, उस समय फिर से डिनर के लिए मिलते हैं, तब तक आप मेरे लिए एक कॉपी निकाल के लाना हो पेपर की. I said, fine. And then when he was just reading through the paper, he said कि yeah, systematically यहाँ पे आपने prove किया है कि yes, Indian knowledge system can develop the Kaizen consciousness, though it is a Japanese management technique. And we both being Maharashtrians, फिर वो आगे मराठी में मुझे बोले, सर आता हा पेपर त्या जपान्याच्या तोंडावर फेकून मारतो आणि सांगतो की आता मी इंट्रोड्यूस करणार आहे, माझ्याकडे रिसर्च बेस आहे. दिस इज द ब्युटी अ प्रोफेसर कॅन डू. And I look forward to why I'm telling this story, just to motivate you to start working in this direction, because you are the young people. You are the people who are the future senior professors who will create impact in the systems of knowledge. So that's the idea. Okay. So next PPT. Artificial intelligence, I was just telling you. Artificial intelligence is a data-driven system, and we as a nation, almost since last more than 15 years, strategically tried to digitize the ancient Indian knowledge so that the global population will use it, and it will develop a database for all the AI systems in this world. And because of that, today you ask anything and ChatGPT or any other AI tool, Gemini or any other AI tool that you use will give you more information on that. Only make sure from the original text that what AI is telling is correct or not. So HI should superimpose the AI. Human intelligence should cover up the artificial intelligence. Then the speed of artificial intelligence and what is said in Marathi, sarasar vichar karne. So this kind of judgmental approach of human intelligence, these two things can go hand in hand. And then you will be able to create the miracles out of that. So AI as a knowledge integrator of ancient texts. We can use AI as a knowledge integration of the ancient text, and with a click in our even mobile smartphones also, you can get the information, what you want. Because what AI does, it tries to recognize the patterns. आप में से अगर कोई AI में काम करने वाले होंगे तो you know artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. So what you are trying to understand there, the patterns of knowledge systems, and then try to integrate these patterns of knowledge systems. And when you try to integrate these patterns of knowledge systems, you will be able to integrate IKS with the modern education. And when you do that, you will be one of the best professors in your respective colleges. So fortunately, through this digitization, there is a support for preservation and digitization. So government had already done that. जो हमने 15 साल पहले शुरू किया एज ए नेशनल पॉलिसी साइलेंटली, उस समय ज्यादा लोगों को पता भी नहीं थी, मुझे वो समझ गया था क्योंकि आई वाज वर्किंग विद एनआईटीज एज ऑडिटर मेंटर, दो आई वाज द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ प्राइवेट कॉलेज. सो आई गॉट एन आइडिया कि अरे ऐसा कुछ नया अभी बन रहा है हमारी कंट्री की तरफ से जो आगे चल के पूरी दुनिया के लिए एक मिसाइल बनेगा. एंड टुडे मोस्ट ऑफ द एआई सिस्टम speak about ancient Indian literature because of that digitization, which was projects in almost all IITs and NITs, top NITs in the country, and only the top 5-7 IITs. Okay, next PPT. Limitations of AI. AI is good, but it lacks lived experience. AI can think, it cannot feel. Whereas human being can think and feel. AI can think faster than the man. But a man has a superior aspect of feeling, empathy. So when empathy and the speed of thinking can go hand in hand, you can create a different way of pattern of knowledge. And it may not have cultural depth. System cannot have cultural depth. इसलिए मैं बार बार कह रहा हूं कि उसको with the original text कहीं से भी वो मिलाने की कोशिश कीजिए, whatever source you can, and try to make sure that what AI is telling, is it correct or wrong. जैसे मैंने अभी कहा कि मैंने AI को बार बार पूछा, अरे न्यूटन के जो 3 लॉ है यही कन्नड़ ऋषि के 3 लॉ थे 2700 साल पहले, तो ऐसा है कि क्या न्यूटन ने कॉपी किया? बोलता नहीं, न्यूटन ने कॉपी नहीं किया. फिर न्यूटन ने अपना रिसर्च किया. हाँ, मानते हैं कि भाई वो आपके कन्नड़ ऋषि ने जो किया था रिसर्च, उन्होंने जो 3 लॉ बताए थे वो और न्यूटन के 3 लॉ सेम आ गए. इट्स अ कोइंसिडेंस. And that's same with Pythagoras and all the other things. So we'll not enter into that kind of debate. And even if you try to go into that kind of debate at the global levels platforms, people don't listen. उनकी आवाज बड़ी होती है. तो वो झमेले में ना जाते हुए हम इसको इंटीग्रेट करके उनकी जो सिस्टम है उसको बढ़ावा देने की कोशिश जरूर कर सकते हैं। एंड मेरा जो अभी न्यूयॉर्क वाला एग्जांपल दिया वहां पे हमने प्रूव भी किया कि यस, इन मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज दिस कंसेप्ट ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक लॉज ऑफ सक्सेस डज रियली वर्क। इस सेशन के बाद चाहे तो आप गूगल या चैट जीपीटी करके देखिए 5 वैदिक लॉज ऑफ सक्सेस एंड डॉक्टर श्रीकांत कल्लूरकर, यू विल गेट द डिटेल्स। Ethical intelligence must be externally imposed on AI, results of AI. AI is a data driven. उसे नहीं पता एथिक्स क्या होता है। उसे अगर कहा गया कि झूठ बोलना ही अच्छा होता है, चोरी करना अच्छा होता है, दूसरों को मारना अच्छा होता है, तो वो बोलेगा हाँ 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 यही सब अच्छा होता है, बिकॉज इट कांट थिंक, आई मीन इट कांट फील गुड एंड बैड, इट्स अ डेटा ड्रिवन सिस्टम, so it can't replicate intuitive wisdom. I am repeating the word intuitive wisdom. आप सबको पता होगा वेद, वेद ये शब्द बनता है विद धातु से, मीन्स विजडम। बट हु wrote Vedas? We don't know. No one knows. And we say it was apaurushaya. Means people kept on contributing to the body of knowledge. What every PhD scholar does. They kept on contributing to the body of knowledge. They developed a system to transfer that knowledge from one generation to another without written media at that time. Now, what is important for us is that how can I combine these two things and teach a subject that I need to teach with reference to this AI system. Next PPT. Now there are sutras, gunas by these rishis, which is a हर सब्जेक्ट का एक अपना फंडामेंटल होता है ना, सो आईकेएस का भी ये फंडामेंटल है। देयर आर वैशेषिक सूत्रास which created the base. We all know पृथ्वी, आप, तेज, वायु एंड आकाश पंचमहाभूत, ये तो सबको पता है। सो इसे कहा गया है द्रव्य। देन कम्स काल, टाइम एंड डायरेक्शन। See, a pilot or a captain of a ship, when nothing was available, when the existing level of communication system was not available, of course, what they were doing? They were using Uttara Disha, north. They had a compass. तो हमेशा वो नॉर्थ के हिसाब से चलते थे। नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन बताने वाला कंपास उनके पास रहता था, जो भी शिप में जाते थे, और वो देखेगा कि यहाँ से काल और दिशा, इसका कॉम्बिनेशन में मैं कैसे करूं ताकि मैं सही जगह पहुंचूं। We say Columbus discovered America. He wanted to discover India. He wanted to come to India. He went somewhere else. Opposite side. Why? He didn't follow the north direction. But in the process, what he found? The original people of the black people of America. If you go to Niagara, some of you would have visited. जब आप नाइगरा फॉल जाते हो, US side, I'm not talking about Canada side. So in that Niagara city, there is a cultural program. So in that cultural program, they show how Britishers came, I mean, how the Europeans came, how they attacked the original Americans who were living near Niagara and then became one of the superpower of the world today. Later on, over 400 years, 500 years. So what is important is Kal and Disha, time and direction. This was another Dravya, way of knowledge. And the third one was Atma and Manas, self and the mind of the individuals. So what they did, they tried to understand Panchamahabhuta with reference to Kal and direction in the light of Atma and Man. देखिए एक फंडामेंटल अप्रोच ही अलग है. आज हम क्या करते हैं, अरे साइकोलॉजी में केमिस्ट्री से क्या रिलेशन है, वो ऋषि लोग लगाते थे. So that's why their way of dealing with the subjects was also different. Now the question is, now people are doing research in Indian knowledge system, but we need to follow the Western method of research methodology. Whereas our own research methodology was not this. It was intuitive in nature. ऋषि लोगों को ट्रांस स्टेज में ध्यान के हाईएस्ट लेवल पे जो ज्ञान होता था उसे वो ज्ञान समझते थे और वेदों की उत्पत्ति वहां से हुई ऐसी कहा जाता है. बट आज हमारा सिस्टम क्या है, डेटा लाओ, उसका एनालिसिस करो, उसको स्टैटिस्टिकली प्रूव करो, उसका वैलिडेशन करो. ये सब होता है तो यस वी विल एक्सेप्ट दैट दिस इज अ गुड रिसर्च. सो नाउ द चैलेंज फॉर अस इज, जो ज्ञान इंट्यूटिव पैटर्न में डेवलप हुआ, आज हम उसको स्टैटिस्टिक्स के हिसाब से हेल्प से प्रूव कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमें वो करना पड़ रहा है ताकि दुनिया ये माने कि ये ज्ञान सही है, ये ज्ञान नई दिशा देने वाला है. आई होप यू आर गेटिंग मी. मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर दी faculty members, so I hope you will be understanding what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
In fact, the problem is with the research methodology itself. Thank you, ma'am. Anita, ma'am. Thank you. The problem is with the research methodology itself. But we can't help it. We need to proceed with the current research methodology. But simultaneously, we can think of using that research methodology which rishis were doing. But while presenting to the outside world, we will present it as in the form of language of current research methodology. Then only it will be acceptable to the current generations. And Gen Z जो कहते हैं, they want everything to be talked on logical manner. If you tell them something logically acceptable, they are with you. If you say नहीं, ये तो सालों से होते आया तो करना पड़ेगा, they will say नहीं करूंगा. That they are also right in one way. They are inquisitive. They are different. In fact, one of the vice president of a company, she wrote to me some time back, सर कहाँ से मुझे प्रमोशन मिला. बोले क्या हुआ मैम. अरे बोले ये प्रमोशन मिला, अभी पूरा स्टाफ जेन जेड है, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टाफ सुनते ही नहीं है. मेनी पीपल हैव सेड इट, सुनते ही नहीं है. अरे नहीं सुनेंगे वो, आप अगर उनको ऑर्डर देंगे तो वो नहीं सुनेंगे. आपकी जनरेशन में आपने ऑर्डर ली, ऑर्डर एक्सेप्ट की, वो ऑर्डर नहीं एक्सेप्ट करते. उनको आप लॉजिकली बताओ, वो 2 स्टेप आपसे आगे रहते. शी वॉज ऑल्सो सेइंग द सेम थिंग. सर उसको अटकाने की कोशिश करो, आराम से छूट जाता है. आराम से छूट जाता है बिकॉज जैसे पैदा हुआ वो मोबाइल के साथ ही पैदा हुआ. जैसे थोड़ा सा बड़ा हुआ, स्मार्टफोन उसके हाथ में आ गया, तो वो भी एक ही भाषा समझता है. nothing wrong in, let's accept them as they are. One boss was saying, अरे सर 4 बजे ऑफिस आते हैं बच्चे, 10 का टाइम है सवेरे का. बोलते तो क्या हुआ, अगले 8 घंटे काम करूंगा, आपको ऑफिस बंद होता है तो घर से आके करूंगा, आपको आपका रिजल्ट मिलने से मतलब है ना. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज हु आर कमिंग नाउ, जो अभी रिसेंट ग्रेजुएट हुए हैं. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द बॉसेस who were born in 70s and 80s are really having problems with them. But anyway, that's the way. काल का महिमा है तो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना ही पड़ेगा और उन्हीं से काम करवाना है ना, क्योंकि वही कल के बॉसेस भी है. 70s में जो बॉर्न जनरेशन है, 80s में बॉर्न जनरेशन है, इनके बाद तो वही लोग है ना 2000 वाले ही, आज से 20 साल बाद. They are going to rule this world. So what is important is all these types of thinking processes are to be accepted. Intuitive method was there. Proving with statistics is current method. So something that comes to you from intuition, try to develop it as a subject, as a body of knowledge with the help of statistical methods or logical thinking methods, whatever research methodology you are using. And then you can say, yes, Indian knowledge system is robust enough for a whole of the world to accept. Okay. So next part is after Dravya. Next PPT, Anuja, is Guna. These are all classification systems. Roop, Ras, Gandha, Sparsha. What we get, they were the sources of information. Roop, Ras, Gandha, Sparsha were the sources of information which used to get processed in the mind, in the brain. That's why Rishis were trying to understand all these things as a whole. Then Sankhya, Pariman, Sanyog, Vibhag means combine the two subjects, divide an existing subject so that it becomes manageable. शायद एक वेद था उसके 4 बन गए. That may be the reason, Vibhag. And then Buddhi, Sukh, Dukkha, Ichha, Dvesh, Prayatna. This was one way of classification. That's what they were saying. Who is experiencing it and how? And IKS, if you start going deep into that, as a researcher, as a professor of IKS of tomorrow, you will find that you will be dealing with all these things simultaneously. कोई भी subject लेके आप जाइए. मैं, for me, my field of research was technical entrepreneurship. I did my PhD from NITI, which is IIM Mumbai today. But then I came across more questions than the answers. I tried to find answers to some of them. And in the process, I moved to a kind of knowledge system at that time, which I was not allowed to call it as a Vedic system. So I called it as a Oriental techniques, not Western. So Oriental. And it has become IKS now. So we got a good name for that, which is acceptable by the government and because of which it's in priority list of the government. Next PPT. Then comes Vaisheshika Sutras based on karma, action, law of action. Karma means law of action. How should be the karma? In our day-to-day life, action of today need not be source of misery for tomorrow. This is a simple principle of law of karma. Now, when it is applied from physics point of view, in the Indian knowledge system, it was utskshepana, throw up, how the things go up. Avakshepana, throw down. Why the things come to earth? Okay, we have that story कि एप्पल गिरा और उसको ध्यान में आया कि दिस इज अ ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स, बट उससे पहले ऋषियों ने बोला था कि नॉट ओनली अर्थ, all the planets have gravitational force, and Surya Mandal is existing because of the gravitational force of each other. So this was already known. That was nothing but utskshepana, avakshepana. Same thing, akunchan prasaran, contraction, expansion. आप लोग में से कुछ लोग बोलते भी होंगे शायद जो महाराष्ट्रियन हैं, बिहेवियर महारुद्रा, अणुपासून ब्रह्मांड होत जात से, मीन्स smallest contraction to expansion. This was the concept. And Kamal, movement. So there were people who studied Gaman as a body of knowledge, transport system. Gaman is nothing but transport system. If you are a professor of civil engineering or you are teaching something about transportation, can you try to find out what was the basic roots of Gamana philosophy in IKS? And can I integrate that with the subject that I am teaching? So concept highlights gravitational force to some extent. So you will find that Indian knowledge system has all these things. And why my appeal to is that don't teach it as a history or subject, independent subject. Teach it as a part of every chapter that you are teaching. Even if it is not as a part of curriculum, spend 5 minutes on that. So that the students will feel कि ये teacher को थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा ज्ञान है किताबों से भी. And then your acceptability to the students community will also get enhanced. Next PPT, Anuja. Engineers dharma. Of course, I am using engineers because I talk to engineers more. What is the dharma? Framework of knowledge. Dharma is nothing but पाण्याचा धर्म वाहने. मराठी जो लोगों को आता है, पानी का धर्म है बहते रहना. So सूत्र is प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगम प्रमाणानि. जो दिखता है, मतलब जो आज रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं हम, ये भी तो था. ये भी तो उस समय भी था. प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगम प्रमाणानि. It is nothing but, for example, a child is experiencing. You tell the child, don't touch. The child will say नहीं. वो जाके हाथ लगाएगा, बच्चा छोटा 6 महीने वाला. पहले जैसे कंदील थे ना घर में, तो छोटे बच्चे क्या करते थे, वो कंदील को हाथ लगाते थे. जब लाइट नहीं थी तो कंदील थे हम लोगों के बचपन में, तो बच्चे जाके उसको हाथ लगाते थे. तो माँ कहती थी हाँ, मतलब हाथ मत लगा. इसको समझता नहीं था. ही वॉज ऑलवेज ट्राइंग टू कैच. सो फिर वो ऊपर रखते थे. कभी कभी वो गलती से कंदील नीचे रह जाता था, ये बच्चा जाके उसको हाथ लगाता था. एंड उसको फिर ध्यान में आता था कि इसको हाथ लगाने से समथिंग गोज रॉन्ग. फिर whenever the child, that infant child sees the fire, it used will say, ah. प्रत्यक्ष, अनुमान. आगम एंड देन प्रमाण. प्रमाण क्या है? फायर को हाथ नहीं लगाते हैं. समथिंग लाइक दिस. सो दिस वाज अ रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी. दे आल्सो एक्सेप्टेड. आज हम भी तो यही कर रहे हैं, प्रत्यक्ष, अनुमान, आगम, प्रमाणादि, अपने पीएचडी में. It was a structured Vedic method of problem solving. So here is a combination of modern research methodology with IKS research methodology. But the source was intuition, which is not yet accepted in the modern research methodology, except slowly now there is an acceptance. You will find large number of Westerners are also writing for this. They are accepted, yes, that is something to be used further. So if you see, even if you are on LinkedIn, you will see the LinkedIn posts of many Western people, they are talking about IKS now. They accepted that this is going to be the future. So they want to be on the leadership position. Even there also. And nothing wrong, because it's the knowledge of the whole world. And anyone can do it. If you want, then you have to be better than them. क्योंकि आपका तो घर का है, पॉसिबल भी है. हमें पता है ना, वो दो दोस्त जंगल में जा रहे थे, सामने से शेर आया. तो एक दोस्त ने बोला चलो भागो, शेर आया. तो ये क्या करने लगा, उसने अपने जूते खोले, उसकी जो लेस थी एकदम टाइट बांधी. ये कह रहा था ये सब क्या कर रहे हैं, तो टाइम पास क्यों कर रहे हैं? तो बोले नहीं, मैं भाग पाऊं अच्छे. तो बोले क्या है, ये सब करने के बाद तू शेर से ज्यादा फास्ट भागेगा. शायद मैं शेर से ज्यादा नहीं फास्ट भागूंगा, लेकिन तेरे से ज्यादा फास्ट भागूंगा. तो हमें भी अपने लेट्स टाइटन अवर शूज नाउ, so that tomorrow even IKS need not be taught to us by Western people. Otherwise they will say, oh, this is our knowledge. Take Indians, come, take it. So if our generation works on that, that situation will not happen. Otherwise, the Westerners will give you Indian knowledge system as their knowledge system. Because they are already started working, many of them. My friend Dr. Ulrich Berg, a German scientist, वो पिछले 40 साल से एक ही सब्जेक्ट में वो रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, अग्निहोत्र. वो कहते हिंदू बिंदु मुझे कुछ नहीं मालूम. आई डोंट टॉक अबाउट द रिलीजियस, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस प्रोसेस, व्हाट हैपेंस थ्रू दिस प्रोसेस, एंड आई एम फाइंडिंग दैट इट इज हाईली साइंटिफिक इन नेचर. उस बंदे ने अपना रिसर्च फील्ड छोड़ दिया. एट द एज ऑफ 27 ही वाज डॉक्टरेट. 10 years he worked in his field. He's 77 now. Last 40 years, he is doing research only on Agnihotra. Its aspects on air, water, soil, and all that. So whenever we have discussions, he says, Dr. Kallurkar, you are working on mind's aspect of it. This is not my field. आपका कुछ रिसर्च आता है, पेपर आता है, तो मैं एक काम करता हूँ, हमारे जो अमेरिकन होमा साइकियाट्रिस्ट है, होमा साइकियाट्रिस्ट नाम दिया जो, उसको भेज देता हूँ कि भाई ये साइकियाट्री के हिसाब से इसमें कुछ है क्या. It's okay. They are working. And they are trying to work faster than us. It's our decision to tighten our shoes or let's follow them. Okay. Next. PPT. Next PPT. Yes. Problem solving flow. प्रश्न, अनुमान, प्रत्यक्ष, पूर्व पक्ष, समाधान. प्रश्न, प्रॉब्लम डेफिनेशन, जो आपके हर एक के पीएचडी में होती है. अनुमान, हाइपोथेसिस. प्रत्यक्ष, एक्सपेरिमेंट, इन्वेस्टिगेशन. पूर्व पक्ष, उत्तर पक्ष, वैलिडेशन. समाधान, पब्लिश द रिजल्ट्स. patent, copyright. So we can talk the same IKS process of research in the modern language also. It's up to us which approach I want to take. Do I want to keep on teaching IKS only as a subject? History? हमारे बाप दादा, हमारे ऋषि मुनि बहुत बड़े थे. Only in that language? Or you want to integrate this knowledge as an independent professor in the subject that you are teaching, right with your students in the classroom? Because in your classroom, for those 50, 60 students, you are the ultimate boss. No one can come and disturb you there for that 1 hour. It is for you to transfer the knowledge in the whatever fashion you want. It's your choice. बुक में पढ़ के बताए या खुद का भी कुछ डेवलप करके बताए. That's your choice. Next PowerPoint. 5 MRs, ethical कर्मस. अभी तो हमारे यहाँ एथिक्स की कमेटी भी बैठती है ना, एथिक्स कमेटी. काफी टाइप के रिसर्च ऐसे होते हैं कि वेयर इट हैज टू बी अप्रूव्ड बाय एथिक्स कमेटी फर्स्ट. Those especially people who are dealing with medical sciences and allied fields. You need to pass through the ethics committee. So, ethical karma is ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. So, health and safety, honest reporting, then integrity, whatever I have done. Don't play with the data. Whatever you got as the results, try to stick to that. Many research scholars, I have guided 23 PhD, I have seen many students. If they don't, they get caught at some or the other stage. आजकल बच्चों में ये एक हो गया है, AI की मदद से लिख के लाते हैं. And when it comes to explaining what they have written, they don't know because it was written by AI. इसने तो खाली प्रिंट निकाल के लाया है. So we always say कि भाई AI की मदद लो, ड्राफ्ट बनाओ, उसको अपनी लैंग्वेज में लिखो ताकि when you are rewriting that in your language, you will understand what AI is saying. If needed, you will modify what AI is saying. If it is deviating from your research findings. But in the method of going for shortcuts, means sometimes students come with output from AI. Using AI is not bad. What is important is, what is bad is blindly using AI. Always make sure that HI superimposes the AI. Then AI is very useful. Now let's see the next PowerPoint. The Western scientists. Again, come back to them. Albert Einstein talked about physics. Nicholas Copernicus, astronomy. Pythagoras, mathematics. Kepler, astronomy again. Laplace, transformation, mathematics. Isaac Newton, physics. So, these different top scientists worked in different disciplines. Let's see whether there was something equivalent in India also in IKS. Next PPT. Anuja. Let's say the Indian scholars. Sushrut, medicine. Charak, Ayurveda. In fact, Sushruta further specialization was in surgery, whereas Charak was in medicine. So एक MD थे, दूसरे MS थे. Kannad Rishi, source of atomic theory. Patanjali, Yoga Sutras. Body and mind together. Sound body, sound mind in sound body. Aryabhatta, mathematics and astronomy. Varahamihir, again mathematics and astronomy. Let's see Brahmagupta. Next PPT. Brahmagupta, again mathematics. But he moved from mathematics to human mind and says zero is the source of infinity. Chanakya, Arthashastra. Bharadwaj Rishi worked in physics. Bhaskaracharya, first and second, mathematics. Nagarjuna, alchemy. Pingala Rishi he gave the binary system 0 and 1. You know, binary system is the source of computerization. आज के जितने भी कंप्यूटर्स चल रहे हैं, जो भी लैपटॉप से आप सुन रहे होंगे या मोबाइल फोन से आप सुन रहे होंगे, इस सबका सोर्स है बाइनरी सिस्टम. So if you are a professor of computer science, you might be teaching BCA students, MCA students, or computer engineers, whatever it is. You are definitely teaching the binary system. Try to go back to the roots and find out what Pingala Rishi had mentioned about binary system. Can you create some additional knowledge by going back to Pingala Rishi's original work on binary systems? Then you are integrating IKS with the modern computer techniques. So you will find that source of almost every subject is there in IKS. What is important for me is, am I going to integrate that or not? Or am I going to teach, चलो वो एक हिस्ट्री टाइप का सब्जेक्ट है IKS और ये हमारे रोज के सब्जेक्ट्स. Choice is yours. Next PPT. Theory of life. The basic idea of theory of life. This is very important, and in fact very interesting also. What I said, mind, matter was thought together. See, the basic idea of theory of life according to Rishis was matter of the universe is made of protons, neutrons and electrons. We all agree. We all know it now. Protons, neutrons and electrons are there. Living and non-living differ by numbers of P and E, protons, neutrons and electrons. किसी में कुछ ज्यादा होता है, किसी में कुछ कम होता है. That's why different. सोना अलग है, लोहा अलग है. What is the difference between gold and iron? The number of protons, neutrons and electrons inside. So basic composition of universe is fundamentally the same. And it comprises of proton, neutron, electrons. Agree? But there is another difference. We'll come about that a little later. Next PPT. So these are the examples we already know. Hydrogen, कितने proton, neutron, electrons है. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus. आपने निगेटिव आयन जनरेटर्स का नाम सुना है? आप अमेजॉन पे जाइए, you will find negative ion generator machines available to you. The work goes back to research of Professor Kruger of Berkeley University in 1980. He said negative ions in the environment are responsible for feeling fresh for the human beings. If you feel कि आज बहुत लो फील हो रहा है, बच्चे बोलते हैं ना आजकल यंग जनरेशन में, कुछ तो यंग लोग होंगे यहाँ पे भी जो कहते हैं अरे बहुत लो फील हो रहा है आज. So whenever you feel low, make sure that you are in an environment where the percentage of negative ions is more. Negative ions means electrons. So his further research was negative ions are more near big water bodies, flowing waters, gardens. And his further research said Indians do something like Havan Yajna that also develops negative ions. So our professor Ulrich Berg tried to measure and he recently told me, yes, I have seen negative ions are increased during Yajna process. He has measured it in Germany. Many of you, almost all of you know Doklam issue, almost 5-7 years old, where China was trying to occupy our land once again after 1962. But what happened? Indian army did not allow them. There was no firing. Neither they used the gun nor we used the gun. धक्के मार के एक दूसरे को वो प्रेशर लगा के अंदर आ रहे थे, हम भी धक्के मार के बाहर निकल गए. आप लोगों ने वो टीवी पे वगैरह देखा भी होगा. But after that government of India decided कि जितना पॉसिबल हो उतना चाइना के साथ कम जाते हैं. Certain products which we can depend on, develop indigenously, and before that we can depend on some other country. Let's deal with the other countries rather than only with China. One of that was health sector. And there was a Chamber of Commerce meeting in Mumbai, I think about 2-3 years ago. And one of my students was in the organizing committee. So उसने मुझे कहा कि सर आप हमें entrepreneurship development पढ़ाते थे in 90s when we were students of HGS. तो अभी चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स में इंडियन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और ताइवानीज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, हेल्थ केयर गवर्नमेंट डिसाइडेड टू गो विथ ताइवानीज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की मीटिंग है. सो आई पर्सनली वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट फॉर दिस मीटिंग. सो आई वेंट देयर एंड बिकॉज ऑफ हिम आई हैड द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी ऑन द फर्स्ट रो. एंड देयर one entrepreneur from Taiwan had come up with a belt, necklace. He said, whenever you feel low, put this belt, put on a button, around 2 lakh negative ions will be around your face and you will feel fresh. If you are a top executive of a company, whenever you are taking a major decision, use this belt. मेरा 1 लाख रुपए का बेल्ट आप गले में डालिए, बटन ऑन कीजिए, बाद में सोचिए इसमें इतने करोड़ डालना है या नहीं डालना है. Something like this. And then I was talking to him. He was not aware that negative ions can be generated through multiple processes with Indian knowledge system also. It was the news for him also. But he tried to develop negative ions with the help of an electronic system. It was an electronic belt. अभी आप भी अमेजॉन पे जाके देखोगे तो आपको 2-5 हजार से लेके 1 लाख रुपए तक, 1 लाख वाला शायद अमेजॉन पे नहीं मिलेगा, बट 2,000 से लेके 25,000 तक के आपको नेगेटिव आयन जनरेटर्स मशीन्स मिलेंगे जो आप अपने रूम में रख सकते हो, सो दैट यू विल फ्लश. सो नेक्स्ट, session objective. Now we will try to go in a different way. Cultivate inner balance for outer excellence. These days I am talking about this subject. So, Khalsa College of Engineering, Amritsar. We had a request from 2-3 colleges in Jalandhar when we had a project, ongoing project from Nikmar University. So we requested the Honorable Vice Chancellor कि हमें जब पंजाब जाने की परमिशन दीजिए. तो पहले तो कह रहे थे कि भाई महाराष्ट्र में आपको इतना डेटा मिल रहा है, पंजाब क्यों जा रहे हो. फिर हमने कहा भाई 3 लोगों ने बुलाया है तो हमने तो उनको कहा है हम ठीक है हम आएंगे. अगर मैडम और वाइस चांसलर मैडम को मैंने कहा मैडम अगर आप ना कहते हो तो हम अपने खर्चे से चले जाएंगे कि नाउ इट इज अ टाइम दैट वी ऑनर आवर वर्ड्स. अगर आपके प्रोफेसर ना भी आते, मेरे स्टूडेंट को ही वहां पे प्रिंसिपल इन्वेस्टिगेटर बनाया था, तो अगर उसको आप नहीं भी भेज सकते मैं अकेला जाके वो प्रोग्राम करके आऊंगा बिकॉज इट्स अ कमिटमेंट नाउ. She said, "नहीं नहीं sir, if it is your commitment, let's honor it." So she said, "Okay, चलो जाने आने का एक 95,000 रुपीज मैं आपको सैंक्शन करती हूँ, आप जाके आइए." क्योंकि they follow all the government of India norms, so naturally traveling by air, staying in a good hotel, and all those expenditures were allowed as part of that research project. So we went to Jalandhar. तो हमने सोचा चलो अभी आगे अमृतसर भी जाके आते हैं. He had not seen Amritsar. That was one of the reasons. So we said कि अभी खाली अमृतसर आके वाघा बॉर्डर और गोल्डन टेम्पल नहीं देखते हैं. Let's go to college. So we went to Khalsa College of Engineering. So it was preliminary. वो तो खाली general discussions हो गए. Then that after 2, 3 months, 4 months, the principal thought, director of that institute, why not think of offering a FDP of inner alignment of a teacher for external excellence in teaching and skill development. They launched a 5 days FDP online and requested me कि सर इसके लिए 5 दिन के speakers भी आप दीजिए and every day you please speak at the end of the session so that we are on the line with inner alignment of the teachers. And there were about 75 participants from major 50 from them, their own institutions, engineering college, their university, their arts, commerce, science college, one of the big college there, and around 25 from the other parts of the country. Basically, their intention was not that to make it open for all. They wanted only for Khalsa group of institutional professors. हम लोगों ने उसको इधर उधर ये वो ग्रुप में डाला तो कुछ लोगों ने रजिस्टर कर दिया तो then they said okay चलो let them also join. So 50 from their group of institutions and 25 from the other institutions, different parts of the country. So cultivate inner balance for outer excellence. This is the source. This is one of the best topic if someone is interested. And based on Vedic principles. So basically it is leadership through experience and excellence in leadership through demonstration. This is what we practice with the boy in New York. And it worked. Next PPT. Session framework of this particular program, which is not the major part of this, but I'm just trying to introduce you with this program, is understanding the 5 Vedic laws of success. You all have heard of Bhagavad Gita. So 18th chapter में क्या होता है? It is a gist. तो अर्जुन कृष्ण जी को पूछते हैं जो कुछ बताया ना बहुत ज्यादा था और थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर से भी गया है. अब एग्जाम के हिसाब से कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बता. So 18th chapter 5th stanza, Lord Krishna says, Yajnadana tapakkarma na tyajyam karyameva tat. Yajnadana tapakkarma pavanani manishna. When it comes to modern way, it becomes Yajnadana tapakkarma swadhyaya nirato bhave. इसमें रममान नहीं. Means what? Means contribution mindset is yajna. Sharing the assets with the feeling of humility. Not only money, your knowledge, anything, time. Restrainment, reduce your personal needs. Understand the law of action so that action of today does not become source of misery for tomorrow. And self-study, understanding the self, journaling on a daily basis or weekly basis. And then growing further. So we later on found that this is the software, whereas the hardware is Panchakosha. Annamay Kosh, Pranamay Kosh, Manomay Kosh, Vijnanmay Kosh, Anandamay Kosh. And development of these 5 layers, according to IKS, the personality development means development of these 5 layers of a human being. That is holistic development. सिर्फ body strong होके फायदा नहीं है. Your breathing should be proper. Your mind should be right, in right direction. How to observe calmness in chaotic conditions. The source can come from IKS. Then logical thinking, विज्ञान, विशेषज्ञ, and then who is experiencing that, जो हमने सबसे पहले बात की थी, looking at that, that is swadhyay, self study. So you can convert that into a teaching methodology in the modern colleges. So we are now developing a program, lead from within, 5 case studies to teach a 1 or 2 credit course in management institutions. And now the method is reflection, sharing, self-discovery, and integration of the knowledge. So one can follow this and create a proper system of embedding Indian knowledge system into the modern subject that you are. Okay. Next PPT. Now I am using engineering education, but why IKS in higher education? Because we all know, according to NEP 2020, there is emphasizes integration of IKS into higher education. Purpose is to connect traditional wisdom with modern technology. But not only technology, modern disciplines also. We talk more on technology because most of the, जैसे मैंने कहा ना, वो AICT से शुरू हुआ, तो वो ऐसे लोगों को लगता है कि IKS इंजीनियरिंग वालों के लिए है, साइंस वालों के लिए है. बट नाउ गवर्नमेंट तो कहती है IKS सबके लिए है. द फैक्ट इज, एक मीटिंग हुई थी प्रिंसिपल्स लोगों की मुंबई में, जिसमें गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के बड़े ऑफिसर्स आए थे, जो जिन्होंने, वो ऑफिसर्स नहीं, दे आर द सपोर्टर्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. They may not be holding a paid employee position. They are chairpersons of certain things and at the top level in IKS. They said, why IKS? Because a day should come when India should lead the world on the grounds of spiritualization of governance and political systems. I'll repeat. Through IKS in education, a date should come when India will lead the world through spiritualization of governance and political systems. वो जगत गुरु पद की पोजीशन है, वो उसकी शुरुआत है. And that's what is the root cause of this IKS. So promote innovation rooted in local knowledge. ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है. Wherever you are working, NIT हमीरपुर ने एक बार एक इनोवेशन मेला लगाया था. उन्होंने कहा हिमाचल प्रदेश का कोई भी फोक लेवल का जो नॉलेज है या इनोवेशन से, जो कभी कभी कहीं डेवलप हुए ही नहीं, मैं तो वो खाली वो बंदा वो यूज करता है और अपनी जगह में कुछ काम करता है उसका. लेट अस डॉक्यूमेंट दीज इनोवेशंस. तो ये तो लास्ट ईयर NIT हमीरपुर ने किया. But somewhere in the year 2001 or 2, there was one professor of IIM Ahmedabad, Professor Gupta. इन्होंने सोचा कि भाई IIM के बच्चों को खाली थ्योरी पढ़ाने से तो एक काम करते हैं, इनको बाहर जाके आउट ऑफ द क्लासरूम पढ़ाते हैं. तो he used to take them to the villages, ट्राइबल एरियाज ऑफ गुजरात, और कहते थे कि भाई यहाँ के लोग कैसे काम कर रहे हो, देखो करते हैं, देखिए, कैन यू डेवलप सम न्यू मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम्स आउट ऑफ दिस. सो दैट वाज द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट. In the process, what happened, those students being IIM Ahmedabad student, which is the best IIM in the country, the brightest knowledge of the nation, brains of the nation, they started creating innovations out of that. He developed another foundation, innovation foundation, somewhere way back in 2001 or 2. and they started recording the innovative systems of the villages in tribal area of Gujarat. That was the place there where he was working. When it came, being a professor of IIM, he had a global exposure also. He got a mega system award of about 30-40 lakhs. So उन्होंने क्या किया, वो पूरा अवार्ड फाउंडेशन को दे दिया, बोले फाउंडेशन में इसका यूज करेंगे. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात ने उनको कहा मैचिंग ग्रांट हम दे रहे हैं. तो दोनों मिलके और थोड़े से फिर CSR फंडिंग वगैरह लाके एक 1 CR से आप शुरू कीजिए. एक सादी सी बात बताता हूँ, जो गोंद होता है ना, पेड़ में निकलता है खाने वाला गोंद, तो वो लोग क्या करते थे, वो गोंद निकालते थे, जितना कपड़े पे गिरेगा उतना फर्स्ट लेवल रहता था, जो जमीन पे गिरा उसकी क्वालिटी डाउन हो गई. तो जो जितना कपड़े पे गोंद गिरेगा उतना ही गोंद बिकता था, बाकी देन दे हैड टू रीयूज समवेयर एल्स. सो व्हाट दे डिड, उन्होंने एक पाइप लिया, हॉलो बड़ा पाइप, उसके सामने एक स्क्रबर लगाया, और उस स्क्रबर से वो बंदा, उसके पास एक झोली दी, एक झोला दिया, तो पाइप का जो एंड था वो झोले में था. अब इसका जब स्क्रबर वो पेड़ के गोंद को हिला रहा है, तो वो गोंद पाइप में से डायरेक्ट झोली में जा रहा है. सो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द कलेक्शन इज लेवल 1. सो क्वालिटी एनहांसमेंट, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट उनको फिर बाद में बहुत ज्यादा पैसा मिलने लगा. इनफैक्ट ही जनरल मैनेजर वाज ड्रॉइंग सैलरी ऑफ ₹1 lakh एट दैट टाइम and moving by air throughout the world, propagating this concept. So the same thing NIT Hamirpur recently did. You can do it in your own class with your own students, and some of you could be the future Professor Gupta of IIM Ahmedabad and create your own foundations, like Deshpande Foundation of MIT Boston, Gupta Foundation of Ahmedabad, or anything else. Now, develop ethical and responsible professionals. Sustainable architecture. Some of you could be from Marathwada because program is also from Bamu. So last month I had an opportunity to deliver a 3-day program at Dayanand College of Architecture in Latur. There we talked about designing a conscious building. Conscious human being gets developed through Panchakosha. Can there be Panchakosha of an organization, a corporate? Can there be a Panchakosha of a nation? And can there be a Panchakosha of civilization? Whole civilization of this world. And can we develop some systems to develop that? That is nothing but Krunvanto Vishwaryam. Let everyone in this world be a noble person. And then we talked about conscious building. Can you design a conscious building? हम देखो कोई पुरानी हवेली में जाते हैं या पुरानी मंदिर में जाते हैं, बड़ा सुकून लगता है, आता है. वन ऑफ द रीजन वो कहते हैं वाइब्स अच्छे हैं. अब जो वाइब जो अच्छे हैं माइट बी बिकॉज मेनी पीपल आर वर्शिपिंग देयर, उससे वाइब्स अच्छे बन रहे हैं. बट एट द सेम टाइम समथिंग यूनिक डिजाइन पैरामीटर्स वेर ऑल्सो बीइंग कंसिडर्ड, because of which that good vibes are retained there. And this can become a source of designing a conscious building for architects of tomorrow. So when we discussed this with the professors, there were hardly 20 professors. One of the professors who is practicing architect also, he said, yes, बोले हम वास्तुशास्त्र के बाद पर डिपेंड करके कभी कभी अपना डिजाइन क्लाइंट को समझाते हैं, वो कहता है नहीं वो अंधश्रद्धा वाली बात मेरे से हम नहीं कर दो. अब हम कहेंगे आई एम डिजाइनिंग अ कॉन्शियस बिल्डिंग फॉर यू, एंड लोगों को लगेगा अरे ये तो साइंटिफिक है. So he said, I am going to practice this as a part of design of conscious building. If you are, if someone is there from architecture or civil engineering background, you can think of designing a conscious building instead of from green building to conscious building. I'm talking. Develop ethical and responsible professionals, sustainable architecture, Vastu principles, conscious building, ancient metallurgy. Maybe there was already a composite material and metallurgical systems available in our IKS. There could be few modern development of materials taking roots from that. Traditional water management systems. Most of the colleges are now looking at it. Probably those traditional water management systems were the best. ताकि बाढ़ घर में नहीं घुसती थी उस जमाने में. आज बाढ़ घर में घुसती है because we blocked the natural flows of water. स्पेशली मुंबई में कहते हैं ना, मुंबई की तुम्बई होते, एवरी ईयर मुंबई की तुम्बई होती, पानी बहुत जमा होता है. क्यों? बिकॉज इन द प्रोसेस वी ब्लॉक्ड द नेचुरल फ्लोज ऑफ वाटर. In fact, CWPRS, Central Water and Power Research Center in Pune, they designed two cities, Mumbai and Singapore. Mumbai was made of 7 islands. They designed a system to connect those 7 islands properly. Of course, before their existence also, the work was started. But they designed in the early stage, somewhere in 1960s. And they submitted report to Government of India and the Government of Singapore. Singapore government decided to implement the ideas. मुंबई से 4 गुना ज्यादा बारिश सिंगापुर में होती है, लेकिन पानी कहीं रुकता नहीं. ये उन्होंने वो जो नेचुरल वाटर फ्लोज है वो उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एज इट इज किया जो CWPRS ने किया. लेकिन हमने क्या किया, अरे वो साइंटिस्ट और प्रोफेसर को क्या दिमाग है, छोड़ दो, चलो हम करते. There are multiple reasons for this kind of sanctions of the buildings, constructions. And the result is now the water is not allowing. The same thing. So let us understand the traditional water management systems. Water storage, so that throughout the year you will get the water. Similarly, not blocking the natural paths so that there is no flooding in residential localities. It was being part of the IKS those days. Then indigenous agricultural technologies. इसमें तो अभी बहुत काम चल रहा है. We are working on 4 plots in Solapur. One of the engineering college management said नहीं हमें इस पे काम करना है. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, पिछले 2 साल से 3 प्लॉट बनाए थे. पहला था नेचुरल, कुछ नहीं करेंगे, जैसा उगता है उगने दो. सोलापुर में बारिश भी कम होती है, यील्ड बहुत कम रहा सालों साल. दूसरा, ऑल दी मॉडर्न पेस्टिसाइड्स. उनके ध्यान में आया कि पहले 2 साल उसका यील्ड एकदम मैक्सिमम था, एंड आफ्टर 2 years the quality of soil started deteriorating. And then आज यील्ड जो है वो गोकृपामृत कुछ कहते हैं, so which is based on cow, the yield is highest. But after 2 years it started giving the difference, showing the difference. Now the 4th plot they have taken is as for Homa farming. So we suggested कि अग्निहोत्र farming techniques भी आप use करके देखिए, because some of the Americans and European people have done it. There is a Bhrugu Aranya in Poland. A complete barren land is now हरा भरा जगह. It is done by Polish people. उन्होंने खाली यहाँ से ज्ञान लिया अग्निहोत्र कैसे करते, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया, उस पर रिसर्च किया. 15-20 साल में everything was different. Now, maybe yes, some of us can think in that way. Next, PPT. NEP and UGC requirement is, there are now key policy guidelines, minimum 5% credits in UG curriculum related to IKS can be delivered through dedicated IKS courses जो आज हम कर ही रहे हैं अपने कॉलेज में. मैक्सिमम इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने अभी फर्स्ट ईयर में एक IKS का नाम का सब्जेक्ट डाल दिया होगा. कभी किसी कॉलेज में जाके पूछा, हाँ वो एक प्रोफेसर को इंचार्ज बनाया है, वो कुछ तो भी पढ़ाता है, नहीं तो वो एनपीटीईएल के कोर्सेज लेके बच्चों को बता देता है, हम एग्जाम कंडक्ट करके उसको सर्टिफिकेट दे देते हैं. It will not serve the basic purpose for which it has been brought into the policy. What is important is embedded modules in existing subjects. That's what I was talking since a long time. Multidisciplinary electives. And then experiential learning projects. जिसमें वो जो concept है ना, matter and mind going hand in hand. Think of a project of that type. So your goal will be integrate knowledge heritage with modern scientific education system. To practice that, maybe that then you will be dealing with this subject in a different way. Next PowerPoint. How can you do that? Five credits are there, 5% credits, IKS curriculum. So 160 में से 8 बनते हैं. 2 तो आप दे चुके हो पहले. Can you offer 3 courses discipline specific, dealing with the subject that you are working with? Then multidisciplinary IKS elective. What do you say, open elective system now? And then think of at least 1 credit. And आप 8 credit से 9-10 करते हो तो आपको कोई फांसी देने वाला नहीं है. Except your board of studies कहेगा कि मेरा सब्जेक्ट पहले उसमें आना चाहिए. And then 1 experiential project work, जैसे गुप्ता सर ने किया था IIM अहमदाबाद में. Can you think of doing that in your subject or in your institution if you have the authority to do that? And this could be made applicable for engineers, polytechnic, pharmacy colleges, and whatnot. At present, the Council of Pharmacy Education and Pharmacy and Architecture, they are not incorporated the guidelines of National Education Policy. They are not saying up till now that 5% credit is mandatory. But there are few colleges who are ready to come on their own autonomous institutions. जैसे कि वो हमारा काउंसिल बोलेगा, जब बोलेगा हम तो IKS शुरू कर देते हैं. हमारे यहाँ मराठवाड़ा मित्र मंडल का फार्मेसी कॉलेज है. So we delivered 2 days session there for the students of B.Pharm, M.Pharm and Pharm D. And then the principal said, yes, I am trying to introduce 1 subject. We did the same thing with Government Law College, Churchgate, Mumbai, जिन्होंने 7 चीफ जस्टिस दिया है. प्रतिभादाई पाटिल, राजकृष्ण अडवा जी उनके स्टूडेंट थे. अंबेडकर साहब वहां के प्रिंसिपल रह चुके थे एक समय में. इट्स अ कॉलेज विद हेरिटेज. दे सेड कि हमारे यहाँ आपको जब लेक्चर देना ही है तो आपको एक सेशन देना पड़ेगा न्याय शास्त्र पे. सो वी ट्राई टू कनेक्ट न्याय शास्त्र एंड कर्म फिलोसॉफी. बट दैट मोटिवेटेड सम ऑफ द प्रोफेसर. दे सेड कि अभी हम इसको एक 6 months सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स में कन्वर्ट करते हैं. दिस मैसेज वेंट टू ए फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर ऑफ महाराष्ट्र जुडिशियल एकेडमी, बोरिवली में वो. सो ही सेड कि अभी हम जुडिशियल एकेडमी को कहते हैं कि भाई जजेस के ट्रेनिंग के दौरान ये न्याय शास्त्र का भी थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग दिया जाना चाहिए. तो थोड़े से फिलोसॉफिकल चेंजेस आर देयर. पीपल आर एक्सेप्टिंग दिस without government advising, government making it mandatory. Also institutions are coming forward. So next PBT. Embedding IKS. It may be engineering or non-engineering subjects. जैसे अभी मैंने यहाँ पे एग्जांपल्स कुछ इंजीनियरिंग के लिए थे कि एंशिएंट वाटर मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, मैकेनिकल में ट्रेडिशनल मेटलर्जी, आर्किटेक्चर में वास्तु एंड क्लाइमेट रिस्पॉन्सिव डिजाइंस, environmental engineering में indigenous ecological practices, computer science में ancient Indian algorithmics and logic, which has come from that Pingala Rishi. So like this, you think of the source in your field and proceed further. Next PPT. Teaching method could be case studies of traditional technologies. It's simple, easy to understand for and implement for any teacher. Take some case studies and try to incorporate that in your teaching. Do some comparative analysis of modern science with IKS. Arrange the field visit to heritage centers and see how these things were there during those days. And can you draw something to be taught? I attended one of the international conference in Germany. It's called Online Educa Berlin. Every year they organize, and it's one of the biggest conference in the world on online education. So in one of the conference, two professors, one from Africa, and another from Japan, they were presenting a paper together. Through online education, it was a combined class, 50% students sitting in Japan, 50% in Africa. Japanese students are learning in Japanese language and African students are learning in their local language. And these two professors are trying to combine the ancient things of their respective countries and create a new type of subject in which Japan and Africa combination is there. So it was not IKS, but approach was the same. So it is possible. Anyone can do that. Project based learning. ये तो आप करते ही होंगे अभी. Interdisciplinary discussions. That's very important. Can I give 10 minutes in my class for students to discuss their ideas? Come forward with ideas. पहले पहले वो नहीं आएंगे. थोड़ा सा मोटिवेशन होने के बाद तो वो बहुत बोलते हैं. और वो अच्छा भी बोलते हैं. हमेशा बुरा नहीं बोलते. So they have energy. They have that much capacity. What needs is a direction only. You give the direction, they will run faster than anyone else. And then focus should be on application and relevance. What I am teaching, let it not be only in the form of a history कि ये ऐसा था, ये ऐसा था, ये ऐसा था. But आज के दिन के लिए relevance क्या है, ये बड़ा important है. Next PPT. Experiential learning opportunities. They can be engaged in documentation of traditional technologies, traditional systems, methods, whatever you want. Study of local water harvesting हो गया. Then the analysis of ancient engineering texts. Yeah, ancient text of the respective subject that you are dealing with. Community-based sustainability projects can be an outcome from your class. Bridging traditional knowledge with modern solutions. I am avoiding the word engineering everywhere. I had no time to change this PPT for general education because I had only hardly 1 hour to prepare for this. Next PPT. Next PowerPoint, Anuja. Yes, benefits for students. Embedding IKS helps students to develop ethical mindset, engineering or scientific mindset. Sustainability awareness. हम तो SDG पढ़ा रहे हैं, हर ब्रांच में पढ़ा रहे हैं. Can we develop that mindset, which is already there in IKS? Innovation inspired by heritage and knowledge. Cultural understanding and global perspective. Together, going hand in hand. The result will be technical competent, scientifically competent, socially responsible professionals. Next PPT. Then what is the role of faculty in this? You play a key role. You can design IKS integrated course modules if you can. If not, spend 5 minutes in the class. Encourage interdisciplinary learning. Guide your students in projects related to traditional knowledge. And that's the reason some of the professors are doing their second PhD in IKS these days. Connecting heritage knowledge with modern research. And a teacher can do it in his or her own class. And then with that, what happens? You are a different kind of next PPT. So one part of this part of conclusion, I am not concluding in totality. I have another 45 minutes to speak. IKS integration is not about teaching history alone. ये ध्यान में रखिए. उसको historical form में मत पढ़ाइए. It's about learning from traditional knowledge systems, applying them to modern technological challenges, modern scientific challenges, developing responsible and innovative citizens. Embedding IKS strengthens both education and the society. And then you will be remembered as one of the unique professors for years together by your students. You will remain in the heart of your students for years together. And not only that, but sometimes the students after 25, 30 years back, they come to you. One of my students, I taught entrepreneurship development to as an elective in the year 1995 at Nanded. There were only 6 students who opted for this elective. But 2 of them met me and they said, we all 6 are industrialists with a turnover of 100 crores to 350 crores. We didn't start our business immediately after graduation, but the seed was sown as a part of that subject. And today, every one of us is an industrialist. 100 to 350 CR. तो जिसका 350 CR का टर्नओवर है ना, वो अभी भी मेरे कांटेक्ट में. आज सवेरे मैंने उसे एक मैसेज भेजा, 2-3 महीने हो गए, कुछ कम्युनिकेशन नहीं, कैसा है? He made a loss of 200 crores during COVID. And for almost more than 6 months, he was not communicating with me, he was avoiding me. एक बार मैं उसके पीछे ही पड़ा. सुधीर बता क्या प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, क्यों मुझसे बात नहीं कर रहे? आप जो एलईडी बल्ब्स खरीदते हो, except one, I think Philips, all the LED bulbs are manufactured by him because after Doklam, when government of India decided कि अभी चाइना से बल्ब नहीं आने देंगे इंडिया में, 250% ड्यूटी लगा दी उस पर ताकि कोई कंपनी चाइना से लाके ना बेच पाए. But that was the time when we are working with Sudhir on vertical integration of production systems. तो उससे हुआ क्या? गेंजी की कॉस्ट में, which was 30% lower than the made in India product cost, Sudhir was able to get 1 year warranty. So when he made it, तो एक बार फिर उसने मुझे बताया कि सर ऐसा हुआ है कि जब कोविड आ गया तो मेरे पास गवर्नमेंट का एक 50 करोड़ का ऑर्डर था जो डिलीवर नहीं हो पाया अगले 2 साल तक. उसके ऊपर बैंक लोन था. उसी समय मेरे पास 1 से 30 करोड़ का वर्क इन प्रोसेस इंडस्ट्री था 6 फैक्ट्रीज में मिला के, जो पूरा ठप हो गया. अब उस पे जो ब्याज चढ़ा बैंक का वो 20 करोड़ था, तो आज मैं 200 करोड़ लॉस में. So then we told them a technique which we are going to talk now. I said, why don't you take a creative pause? And then we explained to him, take a 20 seconds creative pause, stop thinking for 20 seconds and let's see what happens. And after a month or two, I was in another factory of Chakan Industrial Estate. About six of their entrepreneurs and group of entrepreneurs wanted to undergo this training. So मैंने कहा अरे मेरे स्टूडेंट का फैक्ट्री में यहीं कहीं आसपास में एक बार मैं यहाँ किसी इसी एरिया में आया ऐसे मुझे लग रहा है. So I called him. Then they together talked and they decided कि yes they are close to each other. So Sudhir said sir मैं शाम में आता हूँ. So first we decided to meet at 4 लेकिन हमारा सेशन एक घंटे से बढ़ गया. But he came at 5. And the story that he told me is very important. He said, फर्स्ट थिंग तो उसने कहा सर जब भी आप मेरी फैक्ट्री में आए हो मेरे पास आए हो आप हमेशा मेरी 1 करोड़ की मर्सिडीज में ही बैठे हो. आज मैं 15 लाख की होंडा सिटी लेके आया हूं खुद ही चलाते आया हूं क्योंकि मैंने बहुत बड़ा लॉस किया वो 200 करोड़ का. बट ही वॉज लिटिल फ्रेश. मैंने फिर बाद में क्या हुआ मैं वो थोड़ा सा जो क्रिएटिव पॉज देना चालू हुआ तो माय माइंड स्टार्टेड कामिंग डाउन काम डाउन. तो फिर मैं पॉजिटिवली अभी इससे मैं से बाहर कैसे निकलूं ये सोचने लगा. मुझे एक फाइनेंसर मिला उसने कहा भाई पता नहीं तू पैसा वापस करेगा नहीं कर चल 2 करोड़ का रिस्क ले लेते तेरे साथ. तो 2 करोड़ से सर मैंने पहला ऑर्डर मिलाया 90 करोड़ का. उसमें मुझे 60 करोड़ का मार्जिन छूटा है. सो व्हाट ही डिड ही पेड बैक 60 करोड़ टू बैंक आउट ऑफ 200 करोड़. तो हो गया क्या उसकी 6 फैक्ट्रीज वो 1 करोड़ वाली मर्सिडीज 8-10 शॉप्स पुणे के फिर 8-10 फ्लैट्स जो सब बैंक को अटैच हुआ था और अभी ऑक्शन होने वाला था वो रुक गया. ही गॉट अ टाइम टू रिपे पहले 60 करोड़ देने से. अब कहा सर अब दूसरा 90 करोड़ का ऑर्डर आया है और फाइनेंसर ने भी अभी 20 करोड़ दिया है. बोले नहीं तू तो अच्छा आदमी लग रहा है चल और 18 करोड़ डालता हूँ तेरी कंपनी में. और नाउ आई एम इन टॉक्स विथ एलजी. एलजी खुद एक फैक्ट्री चालू कर रहा है रन करने के लिए मुझे दे रहा है जिसमें मुझे कंटिन्यूअस बिजनेस ऑफ अबाउट 25 to 30 CR पर मंथ रहेगा. सो आई एम श्योर विद इन 6 months आई रीपे ऑल 200 करोड़. दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ एप्लीकेशन ऑफ IKS in day-to-day life. So same thing happened with another student who wanted to start his IT company, but in the meantime something else happened. So we'll see his video after some time. Okay, next PPT. Now I am coming to a different subject. What I am doing. So in some of our programs, we create a breathe awareness. Then 10 minutes we talk on contribution mindset. 10 minutes we talk on mindset of sharing by caring. Caring by sharing. Share the assets with the feeling of humanity. Dan is not charity. It is for you so that your mindset, whatever we have a possessive mindset. It needs to be trusteeship. Ownership to trusteeship with whatever I have. And then my mind starts working in a different way. Then restrainment, reduce your needs so that you're comfortable in any kind of situations. Understand the law of action. Journaling, Swadhyay. 5 minutes appointment with the self, we talk on that. And then integrating them. So, ये अभी हमारे प्रोग्राम पहले तो 1 घंटे के शुरू है फिर we increased it up to 3 days now. And we have created 2 great courses also for general institutions, engineering colleges, and management institutions now in leadership development. Next PPT. So maybe sometimes you can try it in your class. Pranamaya kosha activation so that their concentration in the class will increase. You can ask all the students to sit straight, close the eyes, take 3 rounds of conscious breathing. Conscious breathing means you are trying to feel your breathing. Inhale peace, exhale stress. We do sometimes in the programs. Energy management is foundation of emotional intelligence. Through this, what happens? That energy management you are teaching to the students. Same thing, next PPT, selfless contribution. So sometimes you can play this, something selfless contribution, share in a group circle, and then build service-oriented leadership out of that. Next PPT. Generosity of knowledge. Share one life or work lesson. Students can come ahead with that. A partner reflects what they will apply. आप लोगों ने किसी ने अगर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट का ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम किया है, I hope I'm still audible. Anyone
Yes.
can respond?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So the partner reflects what they will apply. ये कभी कभी हम करते हैं. We call it as a micro lab in entrepreneurship development. And then knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. You teach them. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. And when you share the knowledge, truly speaking, you gain the knowledge. Next PPT. Top inner discipline. Silent minute challenge. ये तो आप स्कूल में भी कर सकते हो, बट कॉलेज में भी पॉसिबल है. 8 minutes silent, do nothing. It's very difficult. Do nothing. And then next step is think nothing. Observe steadiness of mind. Resilience defines the true discipline. So अभी हमने एक टीनेजर रेजिलियंस प्रोग्राम डेवलप किया है, which we are trying to offer it for say first year students in colleges or 11th, 12th, 9th to 12th or 8th to 12th students. And it's working fine. We tried with 2-3 schools and we observed that it works even with the children. Next is purposeful action, karma. Role, what I do daily. Goal, who benefits from it. What is important is that whatever I am doing, who is the beneficiary? See, recently what happened, Gaurav called me and said, sir, ऐसे प्रॉब्लम हुआ है मेरी कंपनी में. हमने कहा भाई चलो एक काम करते हैं गौरव, सब छोड़ते हैं. Let's look at it, who is going to be benefited and how. And that gives me a direction of working. That is the law of karma. Ripple has a greater purpose. पानी में हम पत्थर डालते हैं जो ripples आते हैं. Same thing in the society also. Positive ripples, positive thoughts, positive way of thinking, working will have positive effects. Know your ripple to find your dharma. Dharma means your, what can I say, quality. Dharma is not a religion. Like say dharma, पानी का धर्म है बहना, something like this. Next. Swadhyay. What habits must I change? What strengths am I grateful for? Self-study awakens self-leadership quality. Manage the self to manage the world. So a management program is getting developed out of this on the principle of manage the self to manage the world. And then those kinds of managers are really more capable managers. Next PPT, Panchakosha integration. No, basically, when we talk about personality, the word personality has come from the word persona, means mask. But you can wear a mask for a short duration of time. And then you will go back to the original. And that's the source of stress and burnouts. Now, if you look at personality development from IKS perspective, then it is physical, energy, mind, wisdom, and bliss. So balanced koshas. Body, Annamaya kosh. So strategic eating and strategic exercising. Strategic breathing. It's a technique. Then strategic way of keeping the mind at zero state, according as per that Brahmagupta Rishi. We will practice that. Then Vijnanmay, logical approach, and bliss. So balanced koshas will lead to balanced leaders of tomorrow. Next. This we do with children. I work selflessly, share freely, act mindfully, reflect deeply, live joyfully. And it is nothing but yajna of leadership. So that leadership should lead to legacy. So tomorrow your students, when they are in the leadership positions, how it can be a legacy. Next PPT. A true leader does not just lead the people, he elevates consciousness, inspired by the Vedic vision of Dharma, Seva, and Swadhyaya. Now, what we will do, I will put on my video, and I hope you all can see me. Yes? Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Unless you are driving or you are at a little difficult situations, I would suggest sit as comfortably as possible for you. Okay? And then we will take a creative pause of 20 seconds. So what I will do the time management for you. So I say our time starts now. Try to stop thinking. And after 20 seconds, I will say time is up. Okay? So, yeah. So our time starts now. Stop thinking. And the time is up. You can either write in the chat box or speak. How do you feel? Anyone would like to respond? How do you feel? After taking this creative pause, कैसे feel हो रहा है? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah,
So
please.
for me, it was
Please.
very difficult. I had to hold my breath.
It's very difficult. But how do you feel now? Yes, ma'am. How do you feel? Is it fresh?
Relaxing.
Relax, yes. Relax, fresh. So something, whenever I feel low, whenever I need to change my behavior pattern, this is something I can always experience. So a creative pause can help me to shift from reactive mode of behavior to reflective mode of behavior, which is need of the time for everyone. And then further reflective mode of behavior to responsive mode of behavior. What is the difference? Reactive mode is मराठी में जैसे कहते हैं आरेला कारे. आपने ऐसे किया, फिर मैंने वैसे किया. Mine was the reaction. So I am right. I take a pause. Think. Something has said something to me. An emotion has developed in my mind. Now with this emotion, instead of immediately reacting, what I will do? I will take a pause, give a name to that emotion. हाँ, ये गुस्सा है, ठीक है. ये दुख है, ठीक है. Something like this. So you are looking at your own self in a third person's perspective. And then 99% of the time you will find that that emotion runs away. The moment you give it a name, it runs away from you. So your behavior pattern is shifting from reactive to reflective. Your behavior is more of a matured personality. And the next is purpose. Taking into account the purpose, why I do exist, and whether this purpose is getting served or not. So reactive to reflective and reflective to responsive. Purposeful reaction will be a responsive mode of behavior. One more, I hope sometimes it's also difficult to take this 20 seconds creative pause. I hope you all can see me.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, because the screen, or for me, the screen is different here. So now what I'm doing, I'm looking at the camera. I will turn my head by 90 degrees. Again, I'm turning my head by 90. Again, I'm turning head by 90 degrees on the other side and coming back. Again, if you can, unless you are driving, try this for yourself. And while turning your head, observe your mind. Any reaction? Is the mind at zero state when you are turning your head? Most of the cases, the answer should be yes. Yes, please reply. Yes, ma'am.
Relax, sir.
Relax. And you will observe that you feel relaxed because when you are turning your head, it was going to zero state.
Yes,
And
sir.
that zero is the source of infinity according to Rishi Brahmagupta. It means I can take some practical things which will change the lifestyle of my students. Whichever subject I am teaching with that. So this doesn't take more than 2 seconds. So I now know how to reach to the zero state of mind. Because that's already with me. And the theory says between every two thoughts, there is a node. And that node is always zero state of mind, but it is in a fraction of second. We don't understand that. We feel thoughts are in chain. No, they are also having a node, connecting point. This is called mechanism of mind. Professor Edward de Bono, who did research on this in 1960s and wrote about 60 books on lateral thinking. Some of you would be knowing techniques of lateral thinking, six thinking hats, and many more. He wrote a book, Mechanism of Mind. There he talks about with the help of five senses, we get the experiences. We store them in the form of cluster of neurons in our brains. We have millions of neurons in the brain. The clustering of neurons is responsible for an experience. And group of clusters make a perception. So sometimes we give a problem of 9 point, which is useful for out-of-box thinking. And then there you will find that these clusters of neurons, when you get a similar experience again and again, it becomes a perception. And then when the perceptions become stronger, it becomes pattern of perception and further patterns of perceptions. In AI, they talk it as machine learning, deep learning, patterns of perceptions. They try to find out how to integrate the patterns of perceptions in human mind, patterns of data in the AI system. So basically, mechanism of mind is the source of AI. That's why they talk on neural networks. Okay. Now, Anita, can you show a video? Anita, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So Anita, what you do? Sorry, Anuja.
Yes,
दाढ़ी
sir.
वाले बच्चे दाढ़ी वाले बच्चे का लगाओ वीडियो लगाओ देखते हैं आवाज आती है क्या कैन यू पुट दैट वीडियो ऑन दाढ़ी वाला बच्चा ये नहीं नॉट दिस वीडियो अनदर वीडियो दिस वीडियो कैन यू वॉइस आ रही है नहीं आ
नहीं,
रही हाँ
नहीं सर।
नहीं आ रही है ओके आप बंद कीजिए
सर आप उसकी लिंक भेज
हाँ
दीजिए।
नाउ आ रही है देखो अनुजा ट्राई इट अगेन Okay, he is talking about his own experience of creative pause. He is my student, 2014 pass out. He approached me sometime back as a part of, he wanted to start an IT company in Andheri. And something wrong happened in his life. And then he was saying that, oh, sir, I'm not able to talk properly. मुझे कोई खाना पीना अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है नींद नहीं आ रही है this that so he practiced creative pause and after 6 months when he came to me he said सर अभी फिर से कंपनी की बात करते हैं मतलब आई वाज एट दादर स्टेशन तो मेरे पास 2-3 घंटे का टाइम था तो मैंने कहा यार संडे है छुट्टी का दिन है आजा लंच साथ में करते हैं अंधेरी से वो आ गया एंड ही सेड सर फिर से वो फैक्ट्री वाली बात करते बोला क्यों नहीं बोले वो बाकी प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत पीछे हो गए बोले कैसे वो क्रिएटिव पॉज जो आपने बताया था सो ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट सो आई विल सेंड द वीडियो टू द ऑर्गेनाइजर्स एंड देन देयर इज वन मोर वीडियो काजोल फिल्म का है 1960 वाली शायद इसका भी आवाज नहीं आएगा अभी अनुजा आपका शायद सिस्टम बंद है नहीं हो रहा है लेट मी ट्राई कैन यू हियर कैन यू हियर मी
Yes, sir. But that video is not audible.
दिस इज नॉट ऑडिबल
No, sir.
ओके यू कैन सी ओनली द पिक्चर्स
Yes, sir. Yes.
ओके
Yes, sir.
okay but you can see the words and you know this song all of you know this song even the pictures are also important and the words you know almost everyone knows this song it is from Kajol film of 1962 okay I think I will send the link no point in wasting this time
सर ये पुराना वाला गाना है तोरा मन दर्पण कहलाए।
जी खाली उसमें हमने वो पिक्चराइजेशन थोड़ा अलग किया है, so that
Yes, sir.
that becomes a program system for the program, because this is through Zoom. Last time भी ये Zoom में नहीं हुआ था. But the idea is our own mind itself is a mirror. It shows us. तो हमने जो बात कही थी ना इमोशन को नाम देने की, वो यहीं से आती है. जो इमोशन हमारे पास आई है उसको जब हम नाम देते हैं तो वो भाग जाती है, क्योंकि मन दर्पण है. और जब हम उसको दर्पण में देख रहे हैं तो हो रहा है ऐसे है कि भाई उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं रहा वो इमोशन का. आपको अभी वो इमोशन डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेगी. सो योर बिहेवियर पैटर्न विल चेंज. एवरीवन कैन फॉलो दिस इन डे टू डे लाइफ आल्सो. देन okay, go back to the PowerPoint. We have developed a scale YDTKS, यज्ञदान तपकर्म स्वाध्याय निरतो भवेत्. YDTKS scale. अनुजा बंद कीजिए वीडियो. अनुजा, can you hear me?
Yes,
Stop.
sir.
Stop the video. Go to the next PPT. Yes, so this is that scale. So the link can be shared, or if someone can copy it, and if you are interested you can fill the Google form. उसमें आपका contact details भी आते हैं, तो फिर we will get back to you about the analysis part for someone who is interested. Now in one of the PhD we are trying to validate this scale so that it can become a source of scientific way of analyzing the behavioral patterns. Okay. So next PPT. So friends, thank you very much for your time and attention and active participation for all the 3 hours. The integration of Indian knowledge system into education, higher education, is an important step towards building sustainable, ethical, innovative technological solutions, scientific solutions, or social solutions, whichever field you are there. By combining traditional wisdom with modern knowledge, we can develop professionals who are not only professionally competent, skilled, but also socially responsible and culturally aware. And as the faculty member, you are the person who can do that. Okay. So with this, now for next 10-12 minutes, we can have any question answers if they are there. Stop the PowerPoint presentation.
थैंक यू सर. आपने बहुत ही अच्छा इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम को एशियंट लिटरेरी मीनिंग्स टू मॉडर्न मीनिंग्स, बट नॉट ओनली मॉडर्न मीनिंग्स टू टुडेज जो हमारे सामने जो प्रश्न है उसको भी लेकर आपने पूरा बताया. सर मैं एक बताना चाहता हूँ, हमारे तरफ यहाँ पे ज्येष्ठराज जोशी केमिकल साइंस पद्म भूषण अवार्डी है, और महाराष्ट्र हाँ महाराष्ट्र तत्वज्ञान परिषद में वो आए थे. तो उन्होंने ये बताया की हमारा जो गाव समूह आहे त्यांनी मराठीतून ते असं बोलले की ज्यांना गाव समूह, ज्यांना गाव कळाला, ज्यांना गाव समूह कळाला, ज्यांना गावाचे प्रश्न कळाले, वही सृजनशील आहे. थोडक्यात.
आता सर तुम्ही आपण कुठले आहात?
मी सर माझं गाव अजिंठाचे जे काही डोंगर रांग
संभाजीनगर. संभाजीनगर. सध्या आपण संभाजीनगरला आहात का?
येस येस, संभाजीनगर. असिस्टंट प्रोफेसर इन डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ गांधी स्टडीज. येस.
अरे वा वा वा. इन द युनिव्हर्सिटी.
येस, एमजीएम युनिव्हर्सिटी. येस.
एमजीएम युनिव्हर्सिटी. बरोबर.
येस.
तर सर आपल्या इथे गोळेगाव नावाचं गाव आहे. आई थिंक हम हिंदी में बात करते हैं ताकि सब लोग समझेंगे. सर
ये
संभाजी
मैं
नगर से है, संभाजी नगर से वहां पे आसपास में बहुत नाम गोरेगांव नाम के गांव है, बट जो एक
यस
खुलताबाद साइड में आता है वहां
यस
के सरपंच है जोशी।
यस यस
इन्होंने मुझे एक बार 3 दिन के लिए बुलाया था कि भाई हमारी जो बचत गट संस्था है गांव की, उन लोगों को आप एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट थ्रू आईकेएस का ट्रेनिंग दीजिए। अब ये जोशी की बैकग्राउंड बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये थे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में मुंबई में,
यस
और
हम्म,
विक्रम गोखले जी के साथ काम करते थे। मतलब बहुत बड़ी हस्ती
बाप
है,
रे,
विक्रम गोखले नाम तो सबको पता है।
यस सर,
और मकरंद अनासपुरे इनके खास दोस्त भी है। तो उन्होंने जब मुझे बुलाया तो मैंने कहा भाई एक काम करते हैं सर, अगर आपके गांव में थोड़ी ऐसी सुविधा वाला घर होगा कि जहां मैं एक ठीक ढंग से इस उम्र का आदमी रह पाऊं, तो मैं सोचता हूँ कि फिर मैं डेली संभाजी नगर अप डाउन नहीं करूंगा। ठीक है, कोई मुझे कार में ले जाएगा, लाके छोड़ेगा, लेकिन वो नहीं। इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट आई विल प्रीफर टू स्टे इन द विलेज विथ यू पीपल। तो उनके मामा जी का ही घर था, क्योंकि उनके जो बेटे हैं वो जनरल मैनेजर है संभाजी नगर में एक फैक्ट्री में। वो इटली में थे पहले, तो उन्होंने आने के बाद बोला कि पापा ऐसा एक घर बनाते हैं कि जहाँ पे हम आराम से आके रहे, और हमारा जो इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड का रहन सहन है, इटली में जैसे हम रहते थे वैसे अपने गोरेगांव गांव में भी आके रह पाए। तो उनका एक अच्छा बंगला है। तो उन्होंने कहा मामा जी अभी अकेले हैं, मामी जी गुजर गई है, तो आप उनके साथ रह लीजिए। तो मैं 2-3 दिन वहीं था।
यस सर,
अब इस आदमी ने क्या किया, मराठवाड़ा में पानी की तो बड़ी दुर्दशा होती है मई महीने में।
बराबर
टैंकर
है,
चलते हैं बहुत से गांव में, आज भी टैंकर चलते हैं। इनके भी गांव में दिसंबर से टैंकर शुरू होते थे, जुलाई तक, अगस्त तक। सो ऑलमोस्ट 6 to 8 months per year it was a tanker village, टैंकर बेस्ड विलेज। इन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट की स्कीम पानी अड़वा पानी जिरवा।
यस सर,
तो गांव में सब कोई आके सपोर्ट करने के लिए रेडी नहीं था। स्कूल के 2-4 बच्चे आए, कुछ महिला आई इनकी वाइफ की कहने से, बट वो इट वाज नॉट इनफ। यहाँ पे एक जैन बोर्डिंग है पूना में, उन्होंने 8-10 बस खुद के खर्चे से भेजी, 600 बच्चे गांव में गए, और बारिश से पहले हर जगह वो वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के दे डिग द होल्स, जे खड्डे असतात ना पाण्याचे, वो
हाँ
खड्डे
यस,
बनाए।
टोच
600
टोच
बच्चे,
खड्डे,
और हाँ,
हाँ
और
टोच खड्डे, हाँ
हाँ, और वो 600 यहाँ के पुणे से आए हुए बच्चे, और 100-200 वहां गांव के बच्चे, सबने मिलके वो साल वो पानी ये किया। तो इंस्टेड ऑफ दिसंबर शायद फरवरी तक पानी चला। उनकी एक ये है वेल है गांव में, उसमें गांव के बच्चों ने मन पे ठान लिया स्कूल के कि हम करेंगे, अभी ये श्रमदान करके ये बनाएंगे। मोस्ट ऑफ द लेडीज, महिला लोग भी आई, और उन्होंने भी ये किया कि भाई ठीक है, वी विल ऑल्सो सपोर्ट इट। जेंट्स वे आर नॉट रेडी टू कम। तो बच्चे गांव 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 में घूमते थे, रिक्वेस्ट करते थे, ओ काका, ओ मामा, क्या बैठे हो, चलो हमारे साथ खड्डे बनाएंगे। आज मई महीने में उस वेल में 40 फीट पानी रहता है। पूरा गांव वो पानी पी रहा है। गांव ने टैंकर बंद कर दिया लाना।
हाँ
ये देख के पानी फाउंडेशन ने उनको 15 लाख का प्राइज दिया,
हाँ,
और वो प्राइज भी उन्होंने उसी काम में यूटिलाइज किया। अब उनको अच्छा फंडिंग आ रहा है बाहर से। सो दिस इज ए एग्जाम्पल। एक सरपंच मुंबई से आके गांव के लिए, वो आया तो था अपनी माँ के पास रहने के हिसाब से, लेकिन उसने पूरा गांव बदल दिया। जिस गांव में दिसंबर में टैंकर चालू होता था, उस गांव में आज मई महीने में 40 फीट पानी है। पूरा गांव वहां से पानी लेता है। अब और एक बात की इन्होंने, दूसरा क्या किया, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का मंदिर बनाया गांव में। आपके पास गोड़ेगांव, देखिए आप कभी जाके भी आ सकते हो, गाड़ी निकालोगे तो 4 घंटे में तो वापस
ये
भी आ जाओगे, जाके खा के आराम से घूम के। अब वहां पे हर दिन एक फैमिली की तरफ से आरती होती है। आरती होने के बाद आपको दान देना है। दान क्या दान देना है? एक बुरी आदत छोड़नी है। फैमिली में से एक बंदा कहता है हाँ ये तंबाकू, मैं जिस दिन था उस दिन जो लोग फैमिली आई थी उनका जो एक बच्चा था उसने सबके सामने बोला आज से तंबाकू खाना बंद। तो ऑटोमेटिकली डी एडिक्शन हो रहेगा होगा।
बराबर, बहुत ही अच्छा।
तो आप जो कह रहे हो ये प्रैक्टिकली करके दिखाने वाला गांव आप ही के बाजू में।
यस सर।
यस, ग्रेट। So they are such people are the real change agents of the society. अब वो सोच रहे हैं कि अभी इनको एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट का भी लेसन देंगे, वो भी आईकेएस बेस्ड। सो वेदों के हिसाब से पंचकोशों का डेवलप करके डेवलपिंग एंटरप्राइजिंग पर्सनैलिटी वाज माय रिसर्च फील्ड। तो उन्होंने कहा आगे 3 दिन हमको पढ़ा के जाओ ये सब्जेक्ट। So he is the only one sarpanch who has invited me in my life for his village. Yes, वो आपने जो कहा ऐसे लोग ऋषि तुल्य होते हैं।
यस
और ऐसे ही एक बंदा आपके यहाँ संभाजीनगर के पास में ही है, गोड़ेगांव में। ओके, खुलताबाद के पास का गोड़ेगांव। ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
बराबर।
So
Okay,
shall we
okay.
pack
Thank you,
up?
sir.
Huh? Thank you. Shall we pack up? Any other question by anybody or any observation? Any participant want to say something?
अगर किसी से सवाल नहीं तो कर सकते
हाँ,
हैं सर।
you can end the meeting, sir.
Yes, I
But
would
sir,
like to give vote of thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
if no questions are there.
Sir, one question is there. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, please, Pramod sir.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the question is about spirituality. So it's very difficult to know the world within, and it's also difficult to know the world without. Okay, how
Within
this?
and without.
Yeah. So how
These two
the
words.
world, how the world within and how the world without are correlated with us, with each other.
Yes. तो वो जो हमने प्रोग्राम किया था, इनर अलाइनमेंट ऑफ ए टीचर फॉर द एक्सलेंस इन टीचिंग, it was applicable for teaching. Same thing we are implementing on inner alignment of a leader for external excellence. So within is now the concept goes back to Pindite Brahmandi.
Oh.
हाँ, हाँ.
Yes.
तो जो ब्रह्मांड में है वो हमारे पिंड में है।
Right.
वही अपने 5 कोश है, अन्नमय कोश, प्राणमय कोश, मनोमय कोश, विज्ञानमय कोश, आनंदमय कोश। यही ब्रह्मांड के 5 कोश है। When I go back to zero state, that time I am connecting my subconscious mind with the superconscious. I felt fresh for 20 seconds creative pause. Unknowingly, I was making an attempt to connect my subconscious mind with the superconscious mind. And within and without, if you try to combine them together, you are trying to develop something which can be a source of intuitiveness and which can be a source of new ideas. The best creativity is with the nature.
Okay.
Just learn from there.
Well,
The
I
process
have written near about 60 books.
Oh, great!
It's all are on Amazon and ResearchGate.
Oh,
So
great, sir. So it is great to meet
your
you.
teaching and your ideas totally match with mine. So thank
Oh,
you very much. Very
happy to know that.
interesting.
Happy to know that, sir.
Yes,
Like-minded
very
people are together.
excellent lecture, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Okay, madam, you can take over.
Yes. Sir. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. On behalf of all the participants, I, Dr. Sarika Zadhar, roll number 51 from D.Y. Patel International University, Pune, would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Shrikant Kallurkar sir, for delivering such an insightful and inspiring session on embedding Indian knowledge system in higher education for holistic development. Sir, today's session gave us a deeper understanding of how the Indian knowledge system can enrich higher education in line with the vision of NEP 2020. You beautifully explained how Indian knowledge traditions can complement modern science and technology to develop ethical, innovative, and socially responsible professionals. Your comparison between the Western scientific approach and the ancient Indian knowledge system, along with the remarkable contributions of great Indian scholars such as Aryabhatta, Charka, Sushruta, then Kannad, Patanjali, Brahmagupta, and many other reminded us of India's rich scientific and intellectual heritage. As a faculty member from the field of computer science, I found your discussion on the role of artificial intelligence in preserving and integrating Indian knowledge systems particularly inspiring. At the same time, your reminder that AI can never replace human values, ethical judgment, cultural understanding, and intuitive wisdom was truly thought-provoking. I also appreciate the practical way in which you connected, I guess, with engineering education through interdisciplinary learning, the engineers drama framework, and value-added teaching. The interactive activities that can be conducted in classrooms on self-reflection, mindfulness, selfless contribution, then knowledge sharing, purposeful action, and Panchakosh model guided us that true education is about nurturing the body, mind, intellect, values, and characters, not just imparting technical knowledge. Your message that our role as educators is to connect India's rich knowledge heritage with modern research and innovation so that we can develop technically competent, ethically responsible, and socially conscious engineers or teachers is something we will certainly carry forward in our academic journey. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to the UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, for organizing this online refresher course in academic leadership and institutional excellence for Vikasit Bharat 2047 and providing us with this valuable learning opportunity. Once again, thank you, Dr. Shrikant Kallurkar sir, for your inspiring session and for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. Thank you to all the participants for your active participation. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
interesting session.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for these compliments.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.